All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the One Play Esports Valorant Invitational for India. My name is Floki. Joining me for this one is going to be Vivek. And the long-awaited match between Noble Esports versus RAD Syndicate is finally upon us today. Due to some technical hiccups and other related reasons, we had to delay the match. But we're finally here. We're live. Don't go anywhere and don't miss out on the stream. So make sure you like and subscribe and stick around because the match is going to be underway really soon.
Noble Esports versus RAD Syndicate. I think we have a very interesting veto, which we'll obviously talk about in a bit. If my recollection of what I know of the veto is correct, we have Split, and then we have Haven, and then we have Bind.
Yeah.
Now, on Split, if we're going to be starting out with Split, I think what we really have to look out for, Floki, are the Jet mains. I think Sai is the go-to Jet main for the side of Noble Esports, and for RAD Syndicate, I think it's going to be Paradox. Both these teams, Floki, they have a foundation in other tactical shooters. It's a very solid routing that they have in tactical shooters. It's going to boil down to who uses their abilities well. So yeah, there you go. There's the veto on your screens. I'm just going to talk you through this veto a little bit, Floki. We've got Split, Haven, and Bind. Split and Bind, at least on paper, are supposed to be the more defensive favored maps. Noble Esports, well, they get offense on Split. So RAD Syndicate is going to be playing defense, if I'm not mistaken. But when you come to Haven, which is the 50-50 map, RAD Syndicate start out on offense. And then when we move on to Bind, RAD Syndicate are once again going to be on offense. So it's going to be a very interesting veto. And personally, what I'm curious about is Haven, because I've followed RAD Syndicate earlier in the past. They are a team. I mean, they were an org that has its roots outside of the country. Now the players are all from India. They had an interesting storyline. I think they began with players that had some sort of a grounding in Overwatch. That one game where it's neither a tactical shooter, but it's neither entirely an ability-based game. Because, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a hybrid child of TF2, and I'm not sure what other game, if you guys are aware of what Team Fortress 2 is.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think yeah, that's one very interesting way of looking at RAD Syndicate. But now all these players, the current roster, they've got a solid grounding in tactical shooters. They come from the realm of Counter-Strike, most of them, and they've represented India at the higher levels. Speaking of representing India at the higher levels, these are the teams that are duking it out for that 50,000 rupee prize pool. You got Global Esports that did manage to best Team Tamilas. We got Reckoning that did manage to undo Rebellious, some solid use of the operator coming out from Ayan. We have FAR Esports versus Team Villainous, which was the match that took place yesterday. Team Villainous stepping in at the very last moment, did give a good fight, did take FAR Esports all the way into overtime on map number 1, but unfortunately, they just fell short towards the end. Our match for the day, though, is the one that I'm quite excited about. Global Esports versus RAD Syndicate. I'm very curious to see what Sai and Tito bring to Valorant.
Absolutely. And I've been watching a little bit of Tito streams here and then. It seems that he's been playing a hell of a lot of Sova. So I'm curious to see if he has any cool arrow lineups mapped out. The one thing that is somewhat that you mentioned as well when we were talking earlier is that Tito takes this sort of hybrid role between being an initiator slash sentinel for their
Mm-hmm.
side. And
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him play Sova on the Ascent. I've seen him play Sova on the Bind.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, both of those maps are actually going to be played to. I mean, Ascent is not in the veto at all in the first place,
No,
and the
Ascent
last,
is not in the beta.
yeah, and the
Yeah,
last map is Bind. So there's a
yeah,
high likelihood that we may not even get to see
yeah.
the Tito Sova. So what do you think they pick up for him at this point? Do you think they stick
I
with something
think
like a Cypher, Sage? What's the idea?
I think if you're talking about Tito, at least on this map, I think at least on Split, everybody is just playing it very safe. They're going to be picking up the cipher. So Tito is going to be that primary source of information for the side of Noble Esports. If you look on the other side of the Valorant protocol, that's what it's called. On the other side, we have Badman filling in that gap. So it's going to be Tito versus Badman. Both these lads, they've played together in the same team at some stages of their career. They're going to be trying their best to out mind game each other. And I think what I remember very vividly of Tito is, although he's very young, for me, he's a very young player.
Mhm.
He's quite mature as to how he approaches the game. He has the maturity of an older player. He has the patience in other games to just sit down with the Krieg and wait. I'm just curious to see how he plays the Cypher. Can he bring that same maturity to the team? We're going to be jumping into a pistol very, very soon, Floki. Those of you just tuning in, it's the One Play Esports Valorant Invitational. It's the final map of the first phase. It's a best of 3, though, between Noble Esports and RAD Syndicate. Split, Haven, and Bind. That's what we have in store for you. For now, though, we're just going to kick things off with the pistol.
Absolutely, and this first one going to be very crucial. Light buy on both sides, very mirroring each other. You got one guy with the classic and utility, and the rest four with a frenzy and coasts all the way around the board. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be finding the first few picks here. Harsh, right now, just trying to move into this middle area, get some information up and going towards high mid. And now the breach flash is going to come in, and they're going to make their entry on towards this vents area. Gonna rappel down from ropes. See if he can find someone. Trying not to make a lot of noise. He might actually end up finding the. Not sure who that is. I can't make out with the silhouette. I do think it's the breach. Okay, no, it's the enemy race that's sitting there up towards that A ramps area. In the meantime, though, everyone's pushed up outside A lobby. Now the attack is going to come through with the smoke towards screens. The Jet jumping in, trying to find info, and the first kill is going to go towards the way of the defense. But Hika opens things up by quickly taking out the ramps guy from Master ZBDF. The smoke not completely block him out. He's going to peek out. See that the spike has been dropped. Paradox is holding the site all by himself. Gets a 4K. And this guy is thirsty. He is looking for more. He wants to find that final kill. Give this man his ace. Unfortunately, I
30
think
seconds
they're
left.
going to be able to find one kill before they do that.
I have this
Maybe you can get the spike down. It's the best case scenario, but this round is more than over for the side of Global Esports. And RAD Syndicate open things up with an ace.
Yeah, if you look at that round in isolation, Harsh did his bit, right? He got control of rope room. You get control of rope room, you try and swing into A, but as they were swinging into A, it was not as simple as they were expecting. Hiko was there, had his frenzy, caused all sorts of problems for the side of Noble Esports. Noble Esports, they're going to have to, just save. I think this is the logical way to play now. I mean, if you run into too much economic loss in your first round itself, and if you're playing offense, you just save up and you chill.
Yeah, but it seems that they have decided to do a force buy here of Spectres and Light Shields. It's actually going to be heavy shields for ZBTF, but I'm not sure about the rest of the team. There's a technical pause though for the moment, so the team's going to take their time to figure out what exactly is going on and how they want to play the upcoming round. But yeah, we were talking about how Tito likes to play the Sova on Ascent and Bind. But this time around, he's not really playing that. He's actually on his Cypher. And
Yeah.
I'm curious to see, this is something you've talked to me about when we play together as well, is just how it's not so easy to use Cypher's utility on the offensive side. Maybe you can walk us through that, Vivek.
I mean, the whole point of Cypher's ability usage is to just gather information and eventually take control bit by bit of parts of the map. The way the best teams in India are playing him, I'm just going to draw two lines of comparison here between Indian Valorant when it began and Indian Valorant right now. In the very beginning, Floki, the Cyphers used to just, take take put their camera somewhere rather obvious, and the rest of the team would push other parts of the map. But now almost all the teams in India, I think this is what Velocity used to do in the very beginning, have become very aware and are very much ready for these pushes. So we're not going to see any kind of mm, we're not going to see the defense make too many ridiculous pushes, Floki.
Uh,
But on offense, what you want to do is just mirror the enemy cipher at the very least. So if the enemy cipher is sitting at B, you maybe want to try and work out his utility at B. If not, you try and just take mid control.
I That explains a lot. Cypher is one of those unique sentinels where he has a fair amount of offensive capability as well, using his cages like smokes, obviously, and having the tripwire set up in different parts of the map, like you said, to gather information along with his camera. But I have to say, man, Cypher is such one of those has one of those high risk, high reward ultimates with his neural
Mm-hmm.
theft. It's
Mm-hmm.
like in those rounds where you have your ult ready, you just kind of want to peek out, get a kill, and just know instantly where everybody's positioning is. That's like the ideal scenario. I'm curious to see if Tito is going to make some of those kind of plays on the on the offensive side, especially because we know how strong that neural theft can be. It can open up the offense real quickly for the attackers if you find that first frag and the body.
Yeah, I think what you got to remember in this game is that most of the agents that have very useful abilities. I mean, you look at Sova, you look at Cypher, you look at Omen, who can just move across the map. You look at Brimstone. Almost all these agents that provide a lot of control with their abilities, they all require 7 ultimate points. So to put
Yeah,
it, the duelists, which are a little more, how do I
lower
put it?
tier.
No, what they're supposed to bring is firepower. So if you look at Phoenix and if you look at Jet, they just require 6 ultimate points. So in the balance of the game, this Cipher needs to keep getting kills to get those ultimate points and have that neural theft up and going. We have Batman who's going to be playing the defensive Cipher for now. So Batman has to hope that he can lock down sites, be enough of a nuisance to actually punish the side of Noble Esports and get ultimate points. If you look at the Cypher on offense, which is going to be for the side of Noble Esports, which is going to be Tito. Tito for now has to just help in taking mid control. So if he's helping by being at long at B mains, if that's how he's helping, that's okay. If he's helping by being at A, that's his bit. But the objective is to take control at mid. The players are having a couple of technical hiccups. We should be able to jump into the game. You ask me what the Cypher is meant to do. He's meant to gather information aggressively for Noble
Yeah,
Esports right now.
absolutely. And well, to all the 54 viewers watching out there, just in case you weren't aware of it already, feel free to subscribe to the One Play Valorant Esports India YouTube channel. Obviously, we're going to be having a lot of content coming there shortly.
Yeah.
You need to stay up to date if you want to know when the matches are going to be taking place. And it's going to be a lot helpful if you just end up subscribing and liking the stream and share it with your friends and whatnot.
Yeah.
You can follow us on socials as well. You can follow me on Twitter at the
One
rate T.
one play esports. I'm just going to repeat that social.
Yeah,
It's the number one play esports on Facebook, Twitch, Instagram. Is there a Twitter? I think there's a Twitter as well. But
yep,
yeah, the number one play esports. It's there on your screens. If you've been enjoying what Hirak and I have been doing, you can follow Hirak where? At the rate Hirak T. Is that
yes,
it?
yep,
And
that's
I'm
it.
I'm at official Vivek. You can find me as Vivek on Twitter, as well as Facebook. I'm there on Facebook. But yeah, enough of the social media hullabaloo. I want to talk a little bit more about these players, Floki. I
Yeah.
think we got to look at the agent composition roughly. And I think if you had to just break down the composition for Split, it's one Sentinel, one controller, Omen being the preferred controller,
Mhm.
um, Breach, because Breach as an initiator is really strong on this map. If you go into the depth that Valorant offers as a game, and if you go and you read like what Valorant has written about these agents, he's meant to abuse the geometry of the map. It's literally written somewhere. Now I can find that for you. But his job, this lad, this Chad from Sweden, is meant to abuse the geometry of the map. And Split is a map where there's a lot of geometry to be abused, especially with that fault line. We saw a little bit of it yesterday, Floki. You see the fault line being channeled up, and as soon as the fault line flies across the screen, the jet will dash in at the same time. So that's how the geometry of the map is being abused. You stun in days, and the jet dashes in, and hopefully whoever is hiding in that very common predictable cipher angle has no time to react. So
Absolutely.
these are the mind games you're going to be seeing today, Floki.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, Breach is really good at abusing the geometry of the map, and especially towards that Raptors area up on the B side, where we've seen
Yep.
many a times the Breach will just sit back towards B Link, and he's going to sit there and use his fault line, and many a times you just don't have any escape. You need to give up control of Raptors when the fault line comes out.
Yeah.
The options become very limited. So that's when it comes down to the coordination and the awareness of the jet player too. Like as to, okay, so this port line is going to go here, so the only possibility of the player being is over here. If he's in this area, he's going to get concussed and the kill's going to be super easy, yada yada. So it has to be a lot of synergy for Breach to be an excellent agent. But once that synergy is developed, oh boy, I think we've seen what Shivi was capable of yesterday, and I'm quite sure we're going to be seeing a repeat of that today if people are not careful with the positioning. But
Yeah.
yeah, another thing about Breach is that I think he's literally the only agent in the game so far who really abuses he really abuses the map a lot better than any other agent. Like all his abilities go through walls.
I mean, it doesn't require skill, right? Like in a sense, his ability usage is the easiest. Like if you're playing Sova on Split, there are lineups, but
Yeah,
but people think that Split is not a map for Sova. I mean, that's where the meta stands. Like Sova
yeah.
is not good enough. Now, sure, the Hunter's Fury can also abuse the geometry of the map, but you just look at the map design by itself, and this is where map design is something that's really angered me in this game to an extent because it is so geometric. It is one corner then another. It's icebox, which is just literally one corner then another, and that geometry of corners really really pisses me off. I'd like some open space, and we'd all like a little bit of space to just breathe as we figure out the small hiccup that we're having. We're going to figure out this hiccup, and then in about 4 to 5 minutes we'll be back with the game. Do not go anywhere. You're watching the One Play Esports Valorant Invitational.
Ladies and gentlemen, apologies for the small delay, but we are back. The match is underway, and we're going to be going in game really soon with FAR Syndicate winning the first round. In case you missed it, the pistols have been done. It's going to be a very strong buy coming in from the side of FAR Syndicate. They can have
RAD
SMGs,
Syndicate.
armor.
RAD Syndicate. Yeah.
My bad, apologies, Rat Syndicate. Yeah, you get the names confused sometimes. But yeah, Rat Syndicate. Oh, it seems like there's going to actually be a fresh lobby.
Yeah.
Regardless, let's talk a little bit more about the map split. So we were talking about how Sova is not really a good agent for the particular map, mostly because it's not as open as Sova would like it to be. Sova is the kind of initiator that wants to be in those places where there are multiple entrances. It's a bit more open. There's no ceiling.
Yeah.
And Split is the exact opposite of that. You have a
Yeah.
ceiling in the mid area towards sewers, you have a ceiling in the area
Yeah.
towards mid lane. So even getting a high arrow off sometimes is not going to give you the information you need compared
Yeah.
to Bind and compared to some of these other maps like Haven.
Yeah, we're ready to dive into our first pistol, Floki. It is a first pistol once more. And, they say a first time is supposed to be the best, but I think the once more, the encore, is always better. So we're going to be diving into Split. It's RAD Syndicate on defense versus Global Esports on offense. It's a lineup that's, both teams are actually mirroring each other. I think the duelists are personal preference, but they won the race. And now we're looking at Master just trying to hold on from screens as he gets smoked off. ZBDF is there at the back of site to get that kill with the Ghost. And bit by bit, Sai is trying to find openings elsewhere. Master has done his bit. He's taken down Hush. Numbers not looking so good for the defense, but Master with the Ghost looking sublime as he's actually moved on to the site and he's holding the spike. It's just Sai all by himself. Sai needs to get to the spike first. Where the hell is Sai? Too far on the lurk, too lost to make this retake or this post plant work. The defenders managed to actually get the defuse, win the pistol.
Absolutely disgusting round there by Master, getting 4 kills on the board for his team. This guy is going to have a lot of room to work with. He can go for the Bulldog as well if he wants. It's not that great of a rifle to pick up, especially even if you lose the second round, so maybe that's something he could explore. But for now, it's going to be heavy shields all the way around, and for the side of Noble, well, they're going to be scrapping together a shorty, maybe a frenzy here and there. Mostly it's going to be the classics though. Fortunately, Sai found a couple of kills, so if he wants, I think he'll have enough cash to get the Operator in the third round itself. But we'll see if you want to explore that option, because it's very likely he ends up doing that without any armor. And the second pause is going to come through. It seems that there is a bit of a glitch still in the game. But regardless, great opening by RAD, by the side of RAD Syndicate. Once again, Master. First time it was Paradoxer getting the clutch. This time it's Master, and all these players just displaying an extreme amount of high individual skill with their ability to tap heads. And Global Esports, they all tried bomb rushing and it didn't work. So hopefully we're going to see a more calm and a more multi-stepped approach to taking these sites here.
Yeah, if you're continuing on the back of this pistol, just look at Master. He needs 2 more points, 2 more kills in essence, maybe 1 ultimate point just picked up from the floor, and he's got the showstopper ready. So it's been a great start so far for the side of RAD Syndicate. I hope they can keep it going. Guys, we've had a pause. We should be able to figure out the issue soon enough. I don't even know what causes these things, Floki. But I'll be very honest with you. Ever since we had the newer servers being added, ever since we had Mumbai being represented, the game has become a little bit glitchy. I have to be honest with you. It has become a little bit glitchy, and I don't know what chat feels. Are they enjoying the Mumbai servers? I get 4 ms to the server. It's like the server is literally right here, but somewhere very, very close to me. But it's not just about the latency that you get, right? And Indian ISPs do not understand internet as concepts deeper than latency. The base approach is, सर नहीं चल रहा है तो स्विच एक बार ऑफ करो, फिर वापस ऑन करो, फिर चल जाएगा. सर नहीं चल रहा है तो कंप्लेंट रजिस्टर करो, ओटीपी मिल जाएगा. सर ओटीपी नहीं चल रहा है तो मैं क्या करूं? आप घर जाओ, वैलोरेंट खेल लो. अरे पर इंटरनेट नहीं चल रहा है. What? This is the nonsense. This is the loop that the ISPs put you in. But I think we're back to jump into the game. It's 1-0. Paradox and the others from the side of RAD Syndicate are looking really strong. So Paradox is also building towards the knives out. They're just going to move into B with no plan of any sort. It's Rexy with the classic who finds a kill. They just group up towards B main and they start moving in. Now Rexy is somewhere trying to deal with the backstab. So he's managed to deal with ZBDF. He's upgraded his weapon. He's got 15 points of health. This is good for Rexy because he's getting closer to his Rolling Thunder, but he's also getting a lot closer to death and a Jackson Pollock painting because Master with the paint shells, well, that's Rexy's body all over the floor for you.
Absolutely. I'm not sure a lot of people are going to catch that Jackson Pollock reference, but regardless, for those of you unaware, Jackson Pollock was a famous American painter in the early 1900s, and his paintings go for millions and millions of dollars today. It's funny because painters and artists never get the recognition back in their day, but after they die, it's like a legend is born.
I'll be honest, a Jackson Pollock painting looks like my shirt after I've eaten barbecue. It's just sauce all over, just dripping in no sense or in no logic. But I'm not going to give credit to Jackson Pollock for how I eat barbecue. I think Korean barbecue by itself is a delicious thing to try and have once in a while, though.
Absolutely. Speaking of artistry, it's curious to see what kind of artistry RAD Syndicate can come up with. This time around, it seems Paradox has got his hands on the op and has already opened things up by splattering Global Esports' blood all across the wall. We're going to be having Master holding this close angle with the SMG. Good for him, but oh, look at that. Batman takes a risk, goes out to peek with the Stinger, gets a lot of damage and done, in fact, but still down to a 4v4. We'll see if Starboy is going to peek out to maybe try and get the kill, but look at Raze, perfectly perched up in that corner. No way he's going to know he's there. And things going to be slowed down a bit here for the defense. A 4v4, which will obviously favor the attackers. They're going to move in with a perfect pause line up towards Starboy. The flash goes up, but the spam coming in from Hush is going to take out Starboy. Instantly popping through the head. Rexy finds the second kill as well. This B control entirely given up to the side of Global Esports. And I think now Badman, he's going to be banging his head against the wall for that simple peek that he made, as they're going to even give up the operator. And Sai not opting to pick it up, it seems. They're just going to run with the rifles this time around. But RAD Syndicate, they invested a lot of money into that buy, and it doesn't pay off.
Yeah, I just feel really bad for Batman in that round. If Batman didn't die, if he held on to his camera and his tripwires, he would have been able to do more. Now, Starboy did try his best to anchor down B, right? Like he had to rotate in and try and hold B. But he was playing B in this rather passive manner, and then the moment you lose the numbers advantage, it becomes harder for you on defense. And now the defense are scattered. They have a Marshall to work with, a couple of classics, a Sheriff on Batman. It's not the best advice, and especially when a boombot finds you like that, it's embarrassing. Batman, really just sitting in that corner, gets caught out by a boombot. Starboy trying to chime in from B towers is not doing much with the classic, not enough. But Paradox with that Marshall will find the kill. Hush just playing close towards the ropes, will bring him down. And Tito, the Lurk, the Cypher, takes care of Master as he tries to make his rotation towards A. We've got most of that on camera. Now what we need to see is, can ZBDF try and pull this round back all by himself?
It's going to be a tall order, Vivek. He does have a few smokes to work around with, and all of his abilities up and running. But at this point, with half his HP, it could be really great if he could win this round. It would swing momentum right back in their favor, but I don't think anyone is expecting him to do that. Maybe he just picks up a weapon, finds an extra kill, sneaks in, defuse at the best, but nope, cancel all those plans because Sai, he's got his number, and he's going to put it straight on his head.
Yeah, he got one kill, ZPDF. That's actually going to bring him closer towards his dark cover, the ability for him to just, TP everywhere across the map, anywhere across the map. So that's information that the defenders can use. If he picks up an ultimate point, he's going to have it ready. But I don't know if the defense is going to play for map control aggressively. I don't know if they've managed to figure that out. For now, it seems to be a very conventional setup. Batman has just set up a couple of trips towards B. Two people are going to try and play Mailroom and B-Tower. That's the Omen as well as the Breach. Master trying to play ramp aggressively, cannot outdo Sai. Sai just perfect with his timing with the Vandal. Paradox is pushing for more. He's dashed himself into a corner, and Batman, therefore will help out with the Vandal as they take care of Hush. It's now a 4v4 flow.
Yeah, it's now 4v4. No bazooka as well to work with because Master has been taken out. That could have been the X factor in this round, but they still have Jet's knives to work with. ZBDF eating a fair amount of smoke inside the Cypher cage, but it didn't trigger because it was put right underneath his feet. So he's still very much alive. Now he's gonna make some noise. And just like that, side control being given up completely to Noble Esports, but the plant
Yep.
is only now gonna come through. It seems to be a slight delay there in the plant. The pod line gonna come through. The Cypher tries to peek out, gets punished instantly. The pod line gonna come through, but before that, ZBDF will be able to find a kill. Badman up towards this Raptors area, though, is not really able to find a lot of information. And the Rolling Thunder is gonna come through, but it doesn't connect onto anyone. Rexy ends up wasting his ultimate. Badman drops down, gets all the kills by himself. And this man has redeemed himself for his failures in the previous round, and I think this is going to be a victory for the side of RAD Syndicate. Great stuff coming out from Batman.
Yeah, so this is the design of the map that I've got to tell you a little bit about. You can go to A and plant the spike at A. It is easier on paper, but holding on to your post plant on A is a lot trickier, right? Because what happened in that round is Sai basically found an opening towards A. He brought down Master, and then immediately he followed up with the smokes towards A, and they smoked off screens, and the spike slowly swung and came into A just on the back of Sai's opening and Sai's information. Now the post plant is where things got tricky because you have to hold these really awkward corners, and even though the Rolling Thunder was committed by Rexy, it just wasn't enough. I mean, there was nobody to really take advantage of it. Rexy couldn't capitalize upon it because its ability with friendship. Sai, though, doesn't need friends. Sai is just going to move in towards rope room. He brings down Master. Master once again getting bested in these duels. The Sai's timing, Sai's sense of when to push and when to abuse the opponent's lack of awareness is just perfect.
Absolutely top-notch display of timing here by Sai as he goes and finds the perfect headshot as well. But look at this. This is the X Factor we were talking about, and it's on Noble Esports. Hush does a lot of damage with the bazooka, but doesn't find a kill. Cypher still inside his cage, biding his time, waiting for the enemy to push it to the side so he can punish them. But look at this. I think the punish might be too little too late, as there seems to be a fight coming there below Heaven, but that pulls it back along with Paradox. Interesting round. So Noble Esports had the man advantage, but it seems like Paradox just had the number instead.
Yeah.
And just like that, we talked about how the Showstopper is a great ultimate to use. It doesn't find impact, and now if the side of Noble Esports, if the side of RAD Syndicate wants, they can shut down this buy coming in from Noble Esports with the bazooka. And this is something I want to elaborate upon a bit more. Are these duelist ultis can really end up becoming these X factors in these buy rounds? Because what ends up happening is that if you have an extra body on Phoenix, you have the extra fire rate on Reyna, whatever ultimate you may have, you just completely nullify the advantage with your own power spike. With Reyna, it's increased attack speed. With Raze, it's the multi-shot bazooka. You can get multiple kills with it if it's placed well, and that can just win rounds all by themselves, especially these buy rounds. So I'm curious to see if any of the duelists are going to bring those kind of plays out. But now, though, a lot of flashes being committed here towards this rope room area to maybe try and peek out and get some info. But look at this. Noble Esports still holding on to the horses. The spam coming through. Oof, Master. Bullets whizzing by his ear. And he will spot out the breach. Now the bazooka is going to come out. It's not going to land, though. It will deal a hefty amount of damage. But Sai is quick to find the trade. And now a 5v4 with control of rope room. We'll see what they decide to do. Sai trying to peek out here towards this upper heavens area. But he's not able to. Badman meanwhile finds a kill onto Harsh. That camera made a lot of noise, so ZBDF should know that Veto is coming out here. But look at that, Veto is quicker with the aim, and now the neural threat's gonna come out. Noble Esports know exactly where the defense is, and just like that, A control has been given up completely. Breach is gonna come in, get the plant out.
Left.
But look at this amazing positioning by Sai. He's in the perfect angle to cut off the push that's going to come in from the enemy Cypher. Coming in from Batman. Look at Tito though, blasting heads and blasting these fools as Sai gonna peek out on towards Raptors. He knows that there is someone there. Is he gonna get spotted? Not just yet. He's still inside the smoke, Vivek. And regardless of what Batman manages to pull off, this round should be going in their favor, right?
I don't think RAD Syndicate can win this. I mean, Batman has done his best. He found 2 kills. I think he really did his best. Now, this is where Cyphers really come into play, right? Because in that round, we saw the impact of Sai. but we saw the impact of Tito as a Cypher. What Tito did basically is he got that first kill, and then immediately he went towards screen, dropped a tripwire so that he could block off the retake coming out from the side of RAD Syndicate, and then immediately his tripwire was destroyed. I think someone from RAD Syndicate just pre-fired the tripwire or saw it already because they moved through defender spawn so quickly. So they dealt with that tripwire rather quickly, but Tito was just hiding in that corner, biding time, and he peeked at the right moment because he had info that they had info. Master, well, he's got a sheriff to work with. He's taking care of Sai. For the first time in a while, Master comes out on top in the duel of the duelists. How much more can he find? Not much more. He goes to pick up a Vandal, gets punished. It's Hush, the other duelist that's really stepped up now. Hush is looking for more. He doesn't need to do too much more, Floki, because, I mean, in a way has been conceded, but they'll just take the kills that they get. Batman swung over, got punished towards Taz, and now it's one man, ZBDF. And ZBDF, well, he tried. He tried his heartiest with that sheriff, but it was not good enough. I've got to say, all things considered, Global Esports have managed to put 4 rounds on offense. This is a great start for them. If they can end this half with some sort of a lead like 8-4, they're going to be so pleased about themselves. But this round is so crucial because the defense has managed to put together a buy. They have an operator. It's going to be Paradox once again, who finds himself the operator after a fair amount of struggle. Ping is looking good. It looks like everybody is basically located right next to the server. Only Hika, the one chap that's playing from Sri Lanka, struggling a little bit in the ping department. So, I mean, if you want to make excuses, there you go, Floki.
Absolutely, but these are professional players, and they're not going to blame anyone but themselves if they end up losing this match. We're going to be having a sort of like a default going here with Tito making his way towards the A lobby area, and the rest of the side of Global Esports pushing in towards mid, the Chet and the Breach. And we've seen what this duo can do a lot of times a week, and if it's any indication of what's to come, then Paradox really needs to put in some work. Peeks out, misses the shot, is able to find the info that the Jet is there, but look at Sai coming in hot with the punish, quickly takes out Paradox's +1. The Breach is going to go down, no more flashes for the side of RAD Syndicate apart from the Omen, but Paradox quick to punish with the big gun, finding the kills necessary, but Raptor's control has been given up. Master still biding his time. Tito is able to find the trade with Badman. 2 people rushing on towards the site. Master doesn't want to give away his position, and now he should know that the spike is being planted. All 3 people on the site, and as soon as he knows that, he's going to peek out the frag grenade, though. It's going to give away his position, Vivek. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to find those frags now. Paradox getting swarmed by 2 people, is able to find 1 nonetheless. And now it's up to Master, all by himself on the site, not gonna wait for his teammate, and is going to get punished. ZPDF will find the first kills. Here are shouted steps, smokes, and flash to work with, but he doesn't really have a lot of time. He needs to make a play, and he needs to make one now. Breach has the fault line up and ready. He's gonna end up getting flash. He knows exactly where he is. ZBDF, though, he's still holding his ground. He's not tapped the defuse just yet, and now Rexy's gonna peek out and get the headshot, and ZBDF there. Not really able to push in time and find the pick.
Yeah.
Great awareness by Rexy, abusing time to its fullest potential.
Yeah, it's the fundamentals of clutching from any tactical shooter. It's just that Rexy and ZBDF know how to clutch it out with their ability. So what ZBDF did is he used his paranoia just so that Rexy doesn't have sound, that he's made the half defuse, and he's got the half, like, I think ZBDF snuck in a half defuse. Then he left the spike because Rexy just threw in a fault line. Now Rexy's fault line, I mean, it was just meant to deceive it. It didn't really do that much. He just assumed that he worked up the assumption that the Omen is in his own smoke, so he just stunned close to the smoke. Then he heard ZBDF tap the spike again, and then he swung at the right time for the peak. Now, right time is a very crucial set of words in this game, and it seems to be Apna's Bhai time. It really seems to be Apna's Sai ka time, because he's just hitting all the shots with the Vandal. This man has no fear, and he has sheer confidence that whatever game you throw at him, he can click heads, Floki.
Absolutely. Very crisp pain coming out here from all members of Global Esports, really. I believe even Tito had a very sick shot on ZBDF going up towards that ramp area, even though ZBDF knew he was coming, had all the information in the world. So everyone from Global Esports looking really good. Poor chap Hika, struggling with his ping at 70, but well, you gotta make do with what you got. And for now, ZBDF, even though he's not fragging a lot, he's offering a lot to his team in terms of control with those Omen spokes. But oh my goodness, this rolling thunder is gonna come through. But the counter rolling thunder comes in from the side of RAD Syndicate, gonna slow down the push heavily as all members. I think they ate that rolling thunder, Vivek, and now this push towards B has just been stopped in its tracks. Global Esports, can it take some time to reset, to get some more info across the map as they're now making their way towards the mid area? Thankfully, there is a Cypher trap towards A, so they are going to have info when somebody starts pushing that area towards source and towards A lobby.
Yeah. So if they want to make this rotation, they've got to make it quick. They've got to show presence towards A. No one is showing presence towards A. Like you mentioned, first is that Cypher trap. I'm not quite sure whose Cypher trap that is towards A. I think that might just be Tito's. Yeah, Batman Cypher traps. Yeah, Batman Cypher traps is set towards B. So Tito's Cypher trap is meant to mark a rotation. Nobody is really rotating aggressively from the defense. You just have the Jet being patient. Sai is the duelist that's starting to get aggressive. He knows that there's no one towards ropes. He's cleared out ropes. And he's
30 seconds
probably
left.
wondering if they can start swinging towards A. If they can't swing towards A, this is what happens. Tito gets punished. Batman peeks with the Vandal, manages to bring down not just Tito, he's got Hush as well. You got the Omen keeping in, but Starboy just being calm, composed, deals with the immediate threat, isolates the duels, then turn towards Hika and shoots down Hika, and not just Hika being picked off, even Sai on that long-winded journey of his towards rope room, he got caught, he got picked off mid-rotation. So that's a great defense coming out from the side of RAD Syndicate. Kudos to Batman, kudos to Starboy. They did their bit in that round. None of them became a bit too overexcited. None of them pushed recklessly for information. A solid defense coming out. But 5 rounds only on the defense, I'm just wondering if it's too less, because we're 11 rounds in, Floki. I mean, on the 12th round, after the 12th round, you're gonna have to switch. And I don't know if this is enough for the defense. It's close. It's going to be really touch and go. It's going to boil down to that first pistol. Sai, though, is not ready. He's not going to wait. Not going to bother about that first pistol. He's going to kill right now as he's picked off 3. He's got the knives out. He wants to hunt for more. The knives good enough as Sai picks up Master. A dash, which is a fake, but ZDF didn't buy it. His Singularity Phantom does the trick, but it also betrays him as he tries to switch out. He assumed that nobody had pushed Ali, and he got punished, and he ends up dying. ZBDF and the others on the side of RAD Syndicate are going to be a little disappointed with the number of rounds they gave away on defense. Now they have to win this pistol on offense, Floki. And now is when the pressure starts to add up on the duelists. Now is when Paradox and Master have got to really start to find openings.
Absolutely. They need to pull up their socks and start carrying this team on their back, because if they don't start finding those entry frags and finding those crucial kills, the side of RAD Syndicate is just going to fall behind. Global Esports with the round advantage will also have the economy advantage if they win this one. And then it's going to be a tall order for RAD Syndicate to come back in this game. And we all know how well Global Esports can play those buy rounds, especially. You saw them in the 3rd round despite losing pistols. And if this is any indication of what's to come, then like you mentioned, RAD Syndicate need to bring their A game. For now, though, they have a very varied setup, not really looking to rush any site, looking to take their time with things. Finding info. The Jet's gonna have a decent amount of info towards B. Knows there's no one peeking out just yet. We'll move in towards the side, but look at this. The breach sit in the heavens area for now. But Harsh is gonna find the first kill on towards Paradox, and just like that, you mentioned how the entry fraggers have to do their job. The duelists, well, Paradox has ended up falling.
Yep, now it's going to boil down to the Omen. It's going to boil down to how much Hika can do on defense, because he's marking A where the spike is. Starboy lurking towards B has been picked off the spike, and the entirety of RAD Syndicate start to move on to A. Hika can't do all that much. He gets picked off in that corner. The spike should go down. The defense, that is Global Esports. They've got 4 members to work with. How do they make this retake work? Side did get a lot of information towards mid earlier on, but the forces of Global Esports are just starting to get together. They've got to stay noble in pursuit of this retake. Everybody from RAD Syndicate is pretty much just clumped up on the site. There's just one man, ZBDF, that's all by himself on the lonesome. So ZBDF is that point of clutchiness that we got to look at later in the round. But for now, it's Master and Batman just lighting up the scoreboard with their ghost. Rexy will do magic with the classic, as the burst does really net him a couple of kills, but Master stable, reliable, solid as always, on the side, on the spike, will clutch it out for RAD Syndicate as they win that very crucial pistol. Now they have a buy. Now they can put up some weapons, and now they can start to punish Global Esports and whatever decisions they decide to make with their economy.
Absolutely. I just want to take a point. I just want to take a minute out to mention here what Starboy did. So as soon as the fault line came out from Rexy, he was quick with the flash. So they're not able to find the first few kills. They're not able to really capitalize on that fault line. And that allowed them to get those first 2 kills and set up the man advantage. And even though Rexy was pulling it back, it was too little too late. Great stuff. Great awareness coming out from RAD Syndicate, playing off of each other like that.
Yeah.
Badman opening things up, and this round, well, it's just going to be about how much money you can build up. Paradox building up a fair amount of it, finds 3 kills, might find the 4th one. The breach comes in with the shorty. Jason out, gets his hands on an SMG, but it's quickly traded out by Badman.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame the defense too much. I think he was working with the Frenzy. The Frenzy, it can work at that kind of range. I mean, most of the offense was most of RAD Syndicate was just starting to come out towards the A spike side, but it's tricky because it's got a lot of inaccuracy. You got to use it in bursts. Think of it as this game CZ, and you got to burst with it, and it's just a lot more effective at mid-range to close range. Hika picked a little bit too early, and with the ping that he's playing with, I think hitting those kind of shots are not going to be easy. Master is just going to send the boombot, and he's pushing for information, gets a little bit of information that there was someone close. He used the blast back and tried to challenge Hika, but Hika did manage to find a kill. Unfortunately, Badman and the others have done more than just even out the numbers. Badman, however, is really, really low in terms of HP. It's now up to Tito, along with his Raze and his Breach. How much can Rexy and Tito really put together? They've done a lot in the past, in their previous teams. They need to make this retake work because they've kind of committed in terms of weapons.
Absolutely, and great squeeze of abilities being used here by Starboy to keep that Raze at bay. Even the flash connects, and just like that, the side of Global Esports just not being allowed to approach the side. Rexy is going to eat a fault line? Okay, that's very interesting. And just like that, the attackers pick up the second round too. So I believe that was actually Rexy's own fault line that ended up blocking his own Raze there. And ended up denying him control, ended up denying him the ability to move into the site and get a peek off. Small misplay, a slight lapse in communication there from Global Esports, but it's going to add up and start costing you because now you're down to an eco again. You have fought a force buy with light shields and light SMGs, but it's going to be a Herculean effort to win this round back, Vivek.
I think Harsh forced up in the previous round. I'm not quite sure if he did because his shields were maxed out and he picked up a Vandal. I'm not quite sure whose Vandal that was. But yeah, this is another round where the defense has got to make do with less. Master will make do with what he has. He knows those corners. He wants to clear those corners. He's taking care of Tito. The A side, well, it's been taken over by ZBDF and the others. But ZBDF, you can't run around with your knife because this side with a shotty, and he would have possibly killed you. Did you give him the opportunity to load that mag and get in another 2 bullets? Fortunately, ZBDF was quick enough to switch over to the Vandal and deal with that. Paint shells being traded out. Harsh, cute enough to get 1 kill onto Master. But cuteness is not going to be enough for this defense, as, you know, Turkey, they've finally got a buy. They've got 2 ultimates to work with, but they really have to anchor down A. It just feels like they're struggling to anchor down A. And now with this, what should be their first proper buy, let's see what Global Esports are made up of on the defense.
Absolutely, and once again, like we mentioned, you have a lot of ultimates up for both sides, and in fact, Global Esports will also be able to get the ultimate on the Cypher if he manages to find an orb plus 1 kill.
Okay.
The question is, can he find it though? Because if he can find a kill and the orb alongside, this round just goes in the favor of Global Esports so much. But if they can't, there is a Raze Bazooka you have to be aware of. There are Jet Knives. There is a Cypher Ultimate. There's so many things that you have to be afraid of. And this very crucial buy round can tilt in the favor if the ultimates are used properly. For now, the Paradox is just going to tilt in its favor by tapping heads. And it's Hika who's the unfortunate chap to take a bullet in his head. And the Cypher, his position has been given away. Rexy is going to be able to find the kill on towards Badman. The breach fault line is going to come through, but the Rolling Thunder up and ready. For Rexy, he can go berserk here if he actually landed that ult, but he's going to hold on to it for a while, get into a better position. Paradox able to find a kill, but the trade is going to come real quick from Harsh. Master gets the bazooka off the fire. He's gonna get the kill on towards Rexy, but the return fire in the hole coming in from Hush with that bazooka. Frag grenade also gonna be tossed out, and finally Global Esports getting this very, very crucial round under their belt. We said it was going to be a Herculean effort, and Vivek, it was a Herculean effort coming in from Rexy, coming in from Hush, and these players, they've pulled the momentum back in their favor.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can see both Harsh and Master, trying to flex their collars and show us who the better flights is. I mean, Master, I don't know. He did his best. He's represented India a lot in Indian Counter-Strike, and he came very close to Air India. But Harsh said, I'm the king of good times. I'm going to bring out the good times. And he said, I'm going to fly around a bit and stop the show for now. And he really did stop the show. He really, really shut down RAD Syndicate as they were trying to hold on to that spike, hold on to that force plant. The retake looking really, really simple for them. Hika is having a couple of teething issues. He did end up dying early. He is getting used to the ping and the latency and the differences. Sai, he's going to work with the classic. He does manage to get a kill. Now with Tito with the neutral type, gets a lot of information. Swings, peaks, gets one. Can't challenge ZPDF. No, ZPDF is just a bit too much. And now it's Omen versus Omen. It's Hika versus ZPDF, and Hika clutches it out as ZPDF just walks into his crosshairs. I mean, you had the spike on site. It might have been dangerous to go pick it up. Of course, time is a factor, but trying to challenge Rafters, trying to challenge 8R from the low ground is always going to be difficult. You really have to do it with a slight element of surprise, and there was no subtlety, there was no nuance. ZBDF said, enough is enough. I'm just going to dry peek you and see what I can do. I obviously didn't look, or I wasn't aware of whether he had more utility to work with. I didn't know if his smokes were off cooldown, but ZBDF went for the dry peek, challenged good old Hika, and ended up unfortunately not coming out on top. 9-9 though. This game is getting tighter by the second, Floki.
Absolutely, and I have to say the subtlety with which ZBDF played that round was the subtlety of an Indian man on Tinder. Not very subtle precisely, but regardless, the side of RAD Syndicate, we'll see what they can pull together. They had a fair amount of money to fall back on, so it's not going to be as bad for them, because they have a lot of rifles, they have all the utility up and running, but they need to put their heads together and just calm down for a second. Read the map a little bit more, lay into the side of Global Esports before they decide to approach. And now the Omen ulti for information will be able to figure out that there's at least one guy positioned towards this main area. People are going to drop down from Raptors, but look at that. He comes along inside, shutting down the push single-handedly. And Global Esports, if you had any doubts about their defense, well, you can shut them down right now, because Sai is shutting the side of RAD Syndicate down. Does get peeked up by Master after missing his shot there. Maybe there's an opportunity here, but Master, he has his work cut out for him if they want to take this round. Down to a 2v4, he has to go now, but look at this, Harsh and Hika. Perfect timing, and just like that, this round is done and dusted for RAD Syndicate.
Harsh and Hika really teaming up there towards the end. I mean, Sai even doing his bit. Again, Sai's use of this weapon is very different from game to game. Because this game and this weapon, the Operator, you can only do so much with it. The fluidity of movement that a scope, bolt action, sniper rifle does give you in some other games, well, you don't have it in this game. So you got to be careful, you got to be smart, you got to pick and choose your battles. For now, Sai, he's going to try and just challenge the offense. I mean, excuse me, yeah, the offense, as they're sitting outside that cafe wondering why the heck coffee costs so much. The offense is starting to split up. They've got a little bit of control towards ramp, and Paradox does manage to find an opening elsewhere. I believe Paradox was just holding down mid. Sai misses a shot. This does happen with Sai, but when he hits, it clicks like nobody's business. Now, if you just look, Floki, at the offense, if you just look at RAD Syndicate, they just started to swing into B. They've dropped the smoke. I think they've committed the Rolling Thunder. They want control of B because they know that the defense is split. It's essentially a retake coming up from Global Esports. Hika can teleport. He can teleport and get some information. Where does Hika choose to go?
I'm not sure where he's going to go for now, but this time around, He does actually TP in. I'm not sure where it was. I think it was towards the lobby area towards B. But look at this. Tito gonna try to get a kill on Starboy, but he's gonna get instantly treated out. Badman does get his ult off before dying, so they're gonna know exactly the side Global Esports are position. But look at this. I don't think he's gonna end up matching with Rexy. Is flicking heads like that, but RAD Syndicate are quick to find the trade master with his crisp aim, and Badman managed to hold on to the site all by themselves, Vivek. And once again, have to say, RAD Syndicate, if it doesn't work once, try again, bash your head against the wall, condition your skull, and eventually the wall will break.
Yeah, costly round for the defense in a sense, because look at that, Sai doesn't have an operator. And I think they wanted to start to build their defense around that operator. So that operator's been taken away. Sai did a lot of work with it for one round, but we're now sitting at 10-10. If the offense just manages to somehow win the next 3 rounds, they've done it. I mean, RAD Syndicate have done it. Sai though, if he doesn't have an off, he'll work with knives. Whatever you have in the kitchen, he'll throw it at you. Not the kitchen sink just yet, but he's picked up a couple of knives and he's done his work. He's managed to find 1 kill. Tito chimes in with another, and bit by bit, RAD Syndicate are getting picked off as Rexy will manage to just hold down mid, just make sure that there's nobody being cheeky. So they've got control of mid-bottom. They know the spike is there, if I'm not mistaken. And Tito is just dealing with the others. ZBDF gets picked off towards Ram. Sai wants to push for the kill, but his own friend stunned him. I'm not quite sure. Sai doesn't check a corner. There's Paradox right there. Paradox in that corner with the cloud burst is praying that no one finds him. But Tito will hunt with the Prime Vandal, and Tito will get the kill.
I'm not quite sure what's up with Global Esports, because every round we think they're gonna lose, they end up just coming back with these insane plays. Last time around it was Sai with the knives, and this time, last time around it was just an insane series of events. This time around it's Sai with the knives and Tito getting those initial kills for their team. I have to say, man, this lineup, it's really doing the unexpected. And now the economy of RAD Syndicate has been completely shattered, as Global Esports have the money advantage, and they should be able to hold on to it, Vivek.
Yeah, I think if you want to look at someone's perspective, it's Sai right now on the jet, because he's going to be finding out as much of information as he can towards mid. So he hasn't found out too much. No one's come really towards A. It looks like a very straightforward execute towards B, but executes are never straightforward in this game, and they're paint shells. And there's also Hika with the fan team, even Rexy just chiming in, and now they're pushing forward. Rexy says enough is enough. You cannot just bum rush a side with a couple of Omen smokes and expect to take control of it. RAD Syndicate are now staring at defeat, as Global Esports did manage to put 2 rounds in a row. Great stuff coming out from Hika and Rexy. And all of them really, it's just a level of coordination coming up from Global Esports. And now ZBDF and the others, you really have to look at their economy to see what they can put together.
Yeah,
I think I really want to see.
I see a couple of light shields. Yeah, it could be nice if you could just pull up the scoreboard real quick. And yeah, there we go. So they have a very good buy. They have a very good buy, except for one person with the light shield and the bulldog. They have a decent buy. They have a chance to make it out. But look at this, when Harsh goes and beats some raw naked like that, Master punishes him with lead in his skull. Rexy is gonna avenge his fallen comrades, but I don't think that's gonna be enough, because the man advantage is in favor of RAD Syndicate, and they are slowly but surely starting to sprawl out on towards this A site. Badman there was able to take out the Cypher camera. Tito knows where they're going to be coming from. How many heads can you tap, Tito? He's struggling, he's trying, he's giving it his best with the cloud burst. Now going to block his vision out completely, and RAD Syndicate, the push comes in towards that A side. The Rolling Thunder as well to push everyone back. And just like that, RAD Syndicate are able to pick up that round. Great stuff coming in. Was I seeing things awake, or did that just happen?
I have to look at the scoreboard. I really need to confirm that. I mean, now we can just enjoy what Tito's up to. Can we look at the scoreboard real quickly? I think that was Rexy just pushing Tito to the left.
I'm not too sure. I think it was Rexy who ended up using his. It was him. It was.
It was Rexy. Can confirm. I know it wasn't Starboy. It was Rexy. So Rexy just said, "Forget where you are, Tito. Don't be too concerned. You don't need to stand on solid ground. This is Mumbai. We keep digging. We keep playing electricity. So I'm just going to kick you out from your screens and your luxury of just sitting in screen scoped in. And I'm going to go and retake." You can sit there with your Vandal, your Prime Vandal, scope in and wait for days. So that's
Noble
exactly what
Esports.
Rexy did.
Yeah, I mean, Noble Esports, they're trying to win this map of Valorant, but looks like right now they're playing Among Us, and there's an imposter among them. And it's going to be Rexy.
No, no.
who has
I
to start his own
mean, Rexy
teammates.
is just having fun. Rexy said, "Bhai, tu itna time be." You can't just sit like that. Time ho gaya. Abhi spike explode hone wala hai. What the
I
hell
mean,
are you doing?
I'll tell you what the equivalent of that is. That's the equivalent of Dupree shooting a glaive or device in the head because he's been holding on that angle for so long. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna do it myself, bro. Get out of my way.
Yeah.
That was what one of those moments was like.
Yeah.
But yeah, this time around, it's gonna be crucial to see if we're gonna go to overtime or not. What the hell did that boombot do? It went psycho for a second there.
No, it thought it saw the camera, but it just gave information that there was a camera over there. It doesn't. I don't know what it saw, but the boombot has a mind of its own sometimes.
The dangers of AI, very prevalent as displayed by this boombot from the Rays here. Sai, for the meantime, is going to hold on to this angle. Yes, round is very crucial. Need to make sure they're able to find some opening picks to make life easier. 49 seconds down on the clock. Nobody has really shown presence anywhere except for the Rays who fake their presence towards A. Rexy has a solid read on this though. Will proceed to go back towards that B side. Sai shutting down the push coming in towards A ramps, and now looks like this gamble from Rexy is going to pay off as 4 people making their way towards B main. Rexy going to peek out with the
30
flash
seconds
point,
left.
sees the Cypher, and now the information is going to be relayed back towards his team. All the ultimates going to get popped. The bazooka coming in from Hush trying to find someone, but I don't think he's going to end up. Oh, he gets 2 kills! And just like that, RAD Syndicate, this map is done
Defenders win.
and dusted. Came close. It was almost going in the favor of RAD Syndicate, but just when it mattered, Hush comes in clutch with the bazooka, shuts down 2 people with 1 rocket launcher, and this is the X factor we were talking about, Vivek. Duelists with their abilities are just so dangerous in these games, especially in these buy rounds. I mean, you had full shields, you had full weapons, and you still couldn't do anything.
Yeah. Of course, I mean, we have to crown an MVP. I mean, we have to try and guess and find an MVP. It's very hard for me to find one. I mean, Noble Esports are the winning side. The logical choice would be to give it to Sai. I don't know if you can find anyone better on the server, Floki.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, I gotta agree with you there. My MVP too has been Sai with his amazing op, showing a lot of consistency in those rounds, especially in that eco one where he was able to get those frags. There was a very crucial run for them to win, Vivek. If they lost that round, RAD Syndicate can just run away with the economy. But Sai, what can I say? All that experience comes in clutch. Gets some heads, throws out the whole kitchen sink, mostly knives though, onto his enemies' heads, and just like that, Noble Esports take the first map.
Yeah.
Thankfully, though, this is a BO3. It's not a BO1 single elimination. So you are going to be having the second map coming in. It's going to be Haven, followed by Bind. And RAD Syndicate, they are going to be on the offense, like you mentioned. So this time around, they're going to have a lot of room to work with. Haven, we said it's 50-50, but with some decent executes, there are 3 bomb sites to choose from. You can cause a lot of chaos and confusion as the attackers to swing this map in your favor. And RAD Syndicate, curious to see if they're going to be bringing some of that action on this map coming up.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what the veto looks like. I'm sure we're going to see some Sova play on Haven. I wonder if both teams pick up the Sovas. I think this game you have to look at the 2 raises that we had and measure the raise versus the raise, and obviously the jet versus the jet. Now Paradox had more kills, but Sai just he somehow he had more impact. And if you look at Harsh versus Master, Harsh, he's an old guard. He's done his bit. He's done his bit. Like, I feel like Harsh did his bit. You don't have to be flights. You got to be effective. You don't have to look cool always. The showstopper needs to stop the show. That's more important than anything else, and Harsh did that. For now, we're not going to stop the show. We're going to take a small break. It's going to be about, I don't know, a couple of minutes. After that break, we're going to be back with more action. You're watching the Valorant India Invitational, brought to you by One Play Esports. If you've been enjoying this broadcast, go follow One Play Esports on all their socials. It's One Play and then Esports. The number One Play and then Esports. My name is Vivek. With me is Floki. If you've been enjoying what we're doing, our socials are on our screens. You can just search for Vivek or Floki on other platforms as well, and you'll find us. We're going to take a small break. Then we'll be back with our next map, which is Haven.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the One Play Esports Valorant Invitational India. My name is Floki and I'm joined by Vivek. You are watching the final BO3 in the first round, Vivek, but it's between Global Esports and RAD Syndicate. In case you missed it and you're just tuning in, Global Esports, they did take the first game, they did take the first map, but it was a close call. It was a really, really close call. RAD Syndicate putting up a hell of a fight, and what
Yeah,
a nail biter of a first match.
yeah. It was a good game coming out from both teams. I think both teams just, took a very relaxed approach where they said, guys, we're just going to go fight them. Let's see who wins these aim duels. I mean, I think that's how Rexy was playing at least. I think Rexy said, Array, Tito, what does it matter? Okay, like you're
Yeah.
standing there, scoped in, sitting with your Vandal. Beta, you stand there. I will go. You stand. Let me move ahead in life. Rolling Thunder, nickel, nickel. He literally like nickel. And
Oh
then
my
after
god.
that, he just moved on to the side. So everybody's got that very like just move ahead
Aggressive
with the game.
approach.
And it is the Mumbai server, right? Like you're not going
Yeah.
to have the luxury of sitting. If you're on a train, I mean, COVID's over. Like there's no like luxury to just sit at home and do nothing. Life has resumed. The trains will start to move, and then you will get pushed, and there will be a rolling thunder at your feet, and it's going to get awkward. So you better be ready to move. Tito sat there scoped in. I mean, that was what he had to do. He had to do that. He had to wait. He had to be patient. But Rexy is like, भाई बहुत हो गया मैं आगे जा रहा हूँ life में." And he just pushed him and he went in. This is how the game is being
Absolutely.
played right now. It's a fun approach. It's definitely an interesting approach because you're going to see a lot. You're going to see a lot of raw aim in these kind of games, especially like
Yeah.
Tito is like decided in his head. I'm an initiator. I've got to use the geometry of the map. But I mean, Rexy has decided in his head. I'm an initiator. I've got to use the geometry of the map. But if my sentinel, if my cipher is in my way, I mean, like, what the heck? You got to move. The
Yeah.
good news is Valorant did change how abilities do damage to teammates and how much damage they do. So Valorant itself has given you that luxury to be a little bit more um a what?
A bit more frivolous.
A bit more frivolous, exactly,
Yeah.
because the Rays earlier on, the blast pack used to do a lot of
Oh
damage, and
god.
every
Yeah.
time I would play Rays, everybody was like, Why are you playing Rays?" I think that fundamental question is justified. I think that's a question you can always ask me because I'm nowhere close to Harsh, I'm nowhere close to Master, but every time I would drop a blast pack, 5 people next to me at mid link or P link would be like, "Arey beta, tu kya kar raha
Yeah.
hai?" This is
You are
that's
pretty close to making it to Plat 1 though. So don't feel bad about yourself just yet.
One,
Maybe in a few years we're gonna
one
see you
second,
playing with
one
Rexy and
second,
Master and the likes of them.
1 second, Floki. 1 second, Floki. I began in this game. My peak rank in this game was Diamond 2. Okay. Now I'm wherever. It's because I don't grind that much. It's because I play with friends,
Fair
and
enough.
friends give you the most amount of friendly fire in terms of medals. I think you're one of the friends I play with. And I won't say you give me friendly fire, but I think in the early days of this game, there
I
was a
won't
lot
feel
of,
bad.
huh?
I won't feel bad. I won't feel bad. It's okay. You can call me out. But for now, I
No,
think
I'm,
the
I'm
match is
not.
gonna be
I'm not.
underway. Vivek, it seems Haven
Yeah,
is
Haven.
finally upon us.
Yeah,
We'll
we're gonna
see
be
how many more imposters are there among us, or whether Rexy still wants people to get the hell out of this wave. The message hasn't been delivered to Tito just yet.
okay.
It's going to be interesting to see. But there we go. We're seeing the map on our screens, and oh boy, where is that fiery house? I haven't been able to locate that exactly. Is that towards attacker spawn? I think that's
That
towards attacker
that
spawn, right?
throne
Yeah.
which you see, that's towards defender spawn.
Here.
Okay. Well, that just shows
I,
how bad my
there you
knowledge of
go. There you go.
geometry
On the
is.
left side, just crossed it. That throne, like
Ah,
where, yeah, which looks like a chair from a movie which I'll not name, but yeah,
okay. Fair
from a
enough.
TV show which I'll not name. But yeah, that throne is right there. I don't even know what that's meant to be, but this map, I believe it's supposed to be situated in Japan. I think Valorant has done a lot of lore building for this game. I'll get into lore later. For now, you can put on one of the Spotify playlists and just enjoy the broadcast. Sova's playlist is my personal favorite, but Rexy, I don't think he has time to shuffle his playlist. His head gets taken off with the ghost.
Oh my
And this
god.
side is under siege, Floki.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what happens when you put only one person towards that C main area. You get picked off, swarmed by all these people, and suddenly the spike is down. There's not enough time, and you just have to play knee-jerk Valorant. How good is your aim? Not very good because Tawa is taken out a few. Hika comes in with the trade, Tito comes in too. But it's just gonna be Sai all by his lonesome against 3 members, and it's a tall order for him as well. Paradox is able to find 3 kills at the start of the round, Vivek. And if he picks up an SMG in the next one, he's gonna get pretty damn close to his ultimate. We mentioned how good those duelist ults are at changing the changing the tides in those buy rounds, and Paradox, he's getting pretty damn close to it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I think if you look at the scoreboard again, I just need to see who's getting close to what. So yeah, we can just orient ourselves to the draft first. I think Sai's gone for the Jet. Harsh has gone for the Reyna on this map. While if you look at Master, he's still preferring the Raze. I like the Reyna on this map because Lure is got a lot of abuse potential on this map. Paradox instead thinks the curveball is the better flash on this map, but there are omens on either team, and these omens, they're supposed to provide control. They've also got the paranoia, but now one omen's being challenged heavily, and it's ZBDF. He's just going to walk up to Rexy and take care of him. Rexy did his best with the classic pistol. He did do a little bit of damage towards ZBDF, but ZBDF has recovered. He's gotten the kill. Badman will manage to pick off Tito, but Harsh, again, it's Harsh with the Reyna and that Sheriff. He finds himself 1 kill. He's also overhealed, so he's got that extra bit of health to work with, and yeah, if he manages to find a gun, he could do some real damage, but he needs to find the gun, and he can't find a friend because there are no friends on the server right now. He's got the Sheriff and he's just healing up. He's got one more orb to work with in terms of the Devour, and he's just going to keep on going, Floki. This is what Reynas do. This is why I hate them in my pubs. He turns around 360, doesn't quite find the kill that he was looking for. ZBDF will best him, as ZBDF takes aggressive control and just starts moving into defender spawn even. And ZBDF with that aggressive positioning will do enough to hold on to the spike, but it did cost them a bit. I mean, Reyna, I think she's moving closer and closer towards her ultimate ability. I think she's nearly up there. I think she got 3 kills.
Yeah, just 1 kill more and she's gonna have the ult up and running. And this is one of the cool things about Reyna, right? Like, we've talked about this, but if you give Reyna's 1v1s like that, you are gonna regret it so heavily. And that's exactly what happened. Thankfully, the Reyna was out of those, how should I say, those health sucks that you have that build up your armor and stuff, so couldn't really snowball further out of control, thanks to some great positioning. But he still did a fair amount of damage to their economy, and now Sai coming in with the buy round. This is gonna work out in their favor, but look at Badman has other plans. Is gonna be able to tap a couple of heads, take out Rexy, open up the C site. Hiccup trying to shut them down, but Badman is on to a triple kill here in this round. Is gonna get the spike down as well, and just like that, it's just gonna be 2 people remaining. Reyna, he did mention that her ult is going to be up and running soon. She has it, has a couple of flashes, has the devours. Should be able to do some work. Tito gets the first frag. He's trying to get the second one, is unable to. Harsh all by himself, stuck in a 1v1. Trying to fake out the spike, but look at this. The Cypher knows better of him. He's just going to be sticking around the Badman. He knows what Harsh is up to, but look at that ace coming in from Badman in the 3rd buy round itself. I mean, the 3rd round, which was a buy round, not the 3rd buy round, but you get the point. Great stuff from Badman.
Yeah, that was important for the offense. I mean, I think I'm just going to run you through the veto once again. Our first map was Split. On Split, we had Noble starting out on defense. Excuse me, we had RAD Syndicate starting out on defense. Now they start out on offense on both Haven and Bind, if I'm not mistaken. Now, RAD Syndicate did lose Split, but they're going to try their best to put together some sort of a fight on Haven, and Paradox is doing just that. He just needs 6 points for his ultimate. He's getting closer and closer. He's actually got it, if I'm not mistaken, and he's going to clear the A site with the run it back. So he's cleared A, and now the spike can start to move towards A. There's also Badman and Master just trying to cut rotations and cut out any aggression from A shot. So they pick off one towards A shot, and now they're going to start to move over to the A side.
Absolutely, and it's just going to be Rexy all by his lonesome for Global Esports. looking to maybe loot some corpses here and get their rifles, but not going to be too successful. Master is ready and waiting, knows exactly what they're up to. And I believe the last one was a bit of a force buy, Vivek. I saw the Reyna purchase a Stinger and some light shields. I could be wrong though. But yeah, he has enough money for the buy, so it was all calculated. Nothing of value was lost. The operator, in the hands of Sai, has the light shields to work with as well. And now, Noble Esports can try and get themselves back on the board here.
Yeah.
RAD Syndicate, like we mentioned earlier, though, they have some ultimates to play around with, and if you give them some mobs, they're going to have a few more up and running. So it's not going to be an easy hold for the side of Noble Esports. But if Tito and Hika can find 1 kills respectively, they're going to have their ults, and then the round's going to be a lot easier. We'll see what they decide to do, though.
If you just look at the setup, Batman is pushing A for information. The spike is dropped in attacker spawn, but it doesn't matter. ZBDF just walks out towards C long, challenges Sai's operator dry and gets punished. Now Sai's moved in. He's moved into B. Unfortunately, he's missing a teammate. Hika gets picked off. He's trying to just play the top of B and try and solve this defense, but there's no one towards window. They actually close, and Master just up close with the Vandal will take out Sai. Rexy does manage to find the kill, but is it too little too late? I think it is, because Harsh didn't even manage to pop his ultimate. It's all down on Rexy. He has got a recon to work with. Does he get any information? Not that much. Recon ball gets destroyed, and he knows where one man is. He should be able to guess that there's someone towards long. What he doesn't know is that he's got to be careful, because he's starting to get backstabbed bit by bit. The backstab is right behind him as Paradox with the knife tries to get cheeky. Rexy turns around, deals with him, wants to isolate the fight at long, but Starboy peeks wide with the Vandal, confidently brings down Rexy. The retake doesn't work. The operator's been lost. It's not looking good for Noble Esports. And I have to pull up the statistic, Floki. This map is supposed to be 50-50. If you go to Liquipedia right now and you look at, is this map attacker favor or defender favor? It's 50-50. Noble Esports did manage to win split, but do they really want to take the trouble and go all the way up to bind?
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned, how this map can quickly tilt out of favor, especially if attackers can create some chaos. That's exactly what they've been doing. Thankfully, 5 ultimates up and running for the side of Noble Esports, and we've seen Sai do some crazy things when he has those knives out. This time around though, RAD Syndicate realized that there are 5 ultimates, taking a much more measured approach, clearing every corner, every angle possible. That Boom was going to give them a lot of info as to the whereabouts of the enemy team. But look at Paradox, finds 2 quick kills, and just like that, the B side is up for the taking. All those ultimates did not matter. He finds a 3rd kill, and Master picks up the final one as a flawless round coming in from RAD Syndicate. Their economy is built up. Investments paying dividends, and just like that, Noble Esports in the meantime still struggling to earn their first paycheck.
Yeah, great stuff coming out from Paradox. He found the entries at B, and then he also cut out the A rotation. So Paradox single-handedly winning that round for his team. It's been a treat to watch RAD Syndicate, start to put themselves together, especially on Haven. Split was really not kind to them. Kudos really to Paradox to even cut that rotation coming in from A-Link or whatever you want to call it. It's great stuff coming out from him. Now we're looking at a couple of fancy lineups. I did see the offense have a lineup for B. It does kind of reveal and give out information as to who's playing B. If you just look at B right now, the defense has left it open. They've got aggressive control of A long, and they're just trying to anchor down C. It's Tito and Hika that are trying to hold on to C. Tito does manage to find a kill. Hika finds another. Hika also takes care of Starboy towards Garage. So Starboy's been eliminated. It's now just ZBDF with an operator that he's managed to pick up. Who's going to peek him? Who's going to challenge him? No one really needs to. But Noble Esports, they don't like to sit. They like to push. They tag ZBDF, but ZBDF will not miss on tight angles like that. The spike is dropped all over towards the side, towards default. ZBDF has got to make that long journey towards the side, and he's only got 44 seconds to work with. I don't even know if he's going to be able to hold on to this operator. Does he even need to? Is the question.
Well, he might just be able to if they get 1v1s like this, but look at Rexy, the aim god. He's on point today and he's tapping heads. ZBDF will not be able to take the op to the next round, and Noble Esports finally getting a round for themselves on the map. But do RAD Syndicate really care, Vivek, when you have so much money built up? and you have such a strong economy. I don't think that loss is even going to tickle them. Essentially, they're gonna have to lose this round and another round for their economy to truly be terrible. And that's when Noble Esports can comfortably shrink a few more rounds together and get themselves a good half going.
Yeah. I've also got to point out why Sai is using the operator at A long. This is actually interesting. And I will talk about it a little bit more, but basically A long is where the defense gets a guaranteed spawn advantage. You can be cheeky towards A shot, that's what the Reina is trying to do, but Harsh for now has to hold on to A shot. He's got help coming in from Sai, who jumps on top of a box, takes care of Paradox. Those layers actually helping out Sai a little bit. Sai has managed to deal with one. The offense have 4, and one of those is an operator. That's ZBDF that's holding on to that operator. So it's not going to be easy for RAD Syndicate to find some sort of an opening, but they've got a minute to try, Floki.
Yeah, they have a minute. They're gonna just chill out for now, but looks like there is some other plans. Looking to get some explosions up and running, and ZBDF with his own operator with some really explosive shots. 2 quick kills. Rexy's able to find Master. The Sova ultimate being popped. I don't think it's found anyone just yet. Badman in the meantime picks up another, down to a 3v2. Rexy is really low. He's gonna have to pull out some miracles from his top hat, but for now he only pulls out a cabbage leaf, and no one is really impressed with that. RAD Syndicate, 3 people up and running. Sai's location revealed by the camera. No one's gonna peek him. They all know he has an operator. The Cypher coming in. Toast tries to get the peek, not really successful. Sai peeks again, misses. And now his confidence dwindled, his hopes shattered, and the Sova finding his location. He has so many people just closing in on his location, and he won't be able to take the op to the next round. The operator, it goes down.
Yeah, if you had to pick an MVP for that round, it has to be Master for me. Him on the raise, finding an opening with the showstopper is what made that round become a lot more simpler for the side of RAD Syndicate. This is where the game rewards creativity. I mean, if you can use your abilities with the information that you have and find kills like that, it makes the round a whole lot simpler. I'm not quite sure what Master did, but whatever he did with that showstopper was enough for them to move over towards the B side. And then bit by bit, it was just Sai remaining with the op. Now, Sai, you can't really make retakes happen with the operator. It's not really recommended. But if you can get kills like that with the Vandal, those retakes are a whole lot easier. Harsh has managed to find one. Again, the run it back committed, but I don't think they find too much. Paradox might have got himself a little bit of information towards Garage, but nothing too meaningful.
Absolutely, and once again, Noble Esports, it seems that the only rounds that they're able to get a man advantage is the rounds where they take the initiative to go out, get some info, and get those initial fights going. But Paradox is quick to find the trade and make it a 4v4 in the favor of RAD Syndicate. And ZBDF finds another one onto Rexy. That's the star fragging power gone. And just like that, the C site has been opened up. This is very reminiscent of the first one where they just put one man on the C site. It was Rexy, and he got punished heavily for it. Paradox was able to pick up 2 more kills, but Harsh has other plans. Is going to be able to find the Phoenix. Reina, the best 1v1 agent, is not so good when you catch her by surprise. Badman giving us a lesson in how to deal with Reinas, and just like that, well, another round going in the favor of RAD Syndicate. Really punching back hard on this second map here, Vivek.
Yeah, I think, again, I really want to point out what Paradox managed to do in that round. So Paradox was outside C, window, garage, double doors, whatever you want to call it. And he committed his ultimate to get information towards window, if I'm not mistaken. At the same time, though, Sai had actually pushed out of B. And I think he dealt with Sai's push immediately. Sai tried to punish him on the animation of the run and back, but Paradox was ready. So he shut down Sai's aggression. And this time, he's a victim of his own aggression as Harsh is just waiting, holding that angle with the Vandal. And this time, Sai manages to get a lot down with his aggression as he finds ZBDF, but he can't go past ZBDF. There's still Master, who's just waiting and anchoring any sort of aggression coming out from C long. So it's now a 4v3 for the defense. The defense do have the numbers advantage, but they're never finding the advantage in terms of rounds because, I don't know, it just isn't working for Noble Esports.
Oh no, Tito, he made noise, so now the Cypher knows that there is going to be someone pushing in from the defense spawn area. He goes on to peek, swings wide, is not able to find the kill onto the Cypher, but the trade is going to come in from Rexy. And when two people are peeking him, there's only so much you can do, Vivek. And just like that, another round in the bag for RAD Syndicate. This map starting to get really, really ugly for Global Esports, as their money, I just don't think it exists. They're running on, they're running on food stamps here. They have absolutely nothing in the bank.
I mean, now they have ultimates and they're getting closer. If Rexy does manage to pick up a kill or even an ultimate point, he can use the Hunter's Fury to just stall any sort of aggression towards one side. That's really going to be helpful because Starboy doesn't have it. I think we should look at the scoreboard a little bit more just to see what kind of a buy is coming out from the defense. So it's a very compromised buy. It's only Harsh who's working with a Vandal. Harsh is doing his bit, but the other sides are crumbling. You know, Sai pushes C long for information. Sai gets punished after a point. If you just look at the offense, they've got a solid buy. They've got everything that they could ask for. I think we have a bit of a pause coming in. We're having a couple of... someone is having network issues. I think this should be sorted out soon enough.
Let's rotate.
And let's take this time out to maybe really just talk about how Global Esports did manage to get those rounds under their favor and get those rounds that at least look good. Raze, though, it really wants to rotate. I do too, buddy. I do too, but you're gonna have to be a little bit patient until the pause is over to get the action up and going. Now though, Global Esports, the only rounds they managed to pick up on Haven were the rounds where they were the aggressors, especially against a team like RAD Syndicate, who just love pushing a site altogether. They're just able to get so many pickoffs here and they're able to get so much control of the site because Global Esports, they just spread out really thin. And if no one is going to make those aggressive plays, if you're going to have 5 people pushing in one site, your defense is going to be worse than paper. It's going to be torn apart so freaking easily. And that's what RAD Syndicate have been giving us a lesson in. They've been coaching us in how to play Haven on offense rather perfectly. Sai hits a bullet through the door on towards his head. The owl comes in. They did know his location through the recon ball. The shot dart's going to come through, but it's not going to connect. ZBDF finds the first kill on towards Rexy. And Hika on towards this garage area. Sai not able to do anything around this time around with the knives. Batman is able to pick him up. Harsh has an SMG to work with, but can he isolate the duels? Can he find the 1v1? Taking a long range fight that's not really in his favor, but the Phoenix comes in through the smoke, gets the pick onto the Reyna. And now a flawless round coming in from RAD Syndicate. From bad to worse to absolute crap for Global Esports. Final round though, they will have a bye. And they really need to win this one. Otherwise, just a simple pistol win could put RAD Syndicate to map point. Well, the good thing is that the side of Global Esports have a fair amount of ultimates to work with. They have the neural theft. They have the Hunter's Fury. They have the Hunter's Fury as well. So lots of things they can do. Lots of aggressive potential available to them here. If Reyna just wants to go berserk, push out that short area with the initial few flashes and the ult, she could do that. But with this sort of a setup coming in from RAD Syndicate, with a pressure being applied to this garage area, that Reyna is not going to be able to find the duels she's looking for. The ult tries to go for a random flip, not going to be too successful. But Paradox, it's time to press W. He's going to go in with the run it back, finds the first kill. Can he find more? No, Rexy quick to shut it down, but he's able to find the first kill. Man advantage still in their favor. Slova comes in with the ult, Sai pulls it back with the off shot. And nice hot hand on towards that Sova, but I don't believe it clipped him. ZBDF quick to find the trade, down to a 4v3. A side completely open. There are some traps laid down there, but look at that. The Omen is going to make his way towards the side. He's going to know exactly where they are. But Tito, with the awareness, is going to be able to find the kill out of the body for the neural tip. And now this round slowly going to tilt back in the favor of Global Esports. They know exactly where their position and what their possibilities are. We'll see how much they can capitalize though. The Reyna has the ultimate up and ready, hasn't used it. Now it'll be popped as he gets the first kill on towards Paradox. And Global Esports have their work cut out for them.
Yeah. Tito towards Heaven. How much can he do? He doesn't have to find the kill. He's got Rexy to help him in this retake. If you had to pick an MVP for Global Esports in that round, it's got to be Tito. His awareness, his presence of mind to just anchor down the A side. I was watching the setup that RAD Syndicate were running. So it was just a bunch of
Switching
members
sides.
towards C window. They wanted information at C window. They wanted to challenge it. Paradox did his bit on the Phoenix, right? He got that kill. He got that kill with the assistant coming in from the Owl drone and the run it back. But I want to tell you the story of what was going on at A. At A, Badman got a little bit of information. He was basically just trying to mirror the enemy Cypher. He didn't see Tito on the site. He thought the site was clear. ZBDF then goes on TP into heaven. And ZBDF TP'd in, but ZBDF's timing was a little off. He threw a smoke, and Tito, having the presence of mind, peaked at just the right time and punished ZBDF. ZBDF was trying to just set up for the post plant. So I think it's a fundamental from any tactical shooter. You do not want to be caught with an ability in your hand or any piece of utility in your hand and not your gun. So ZBDF wasn't ready for that. He got caught looking silly. I saw his smoke fly out. It was thrown in for connector, thrown in for the rotation that defenders make from B. He thought he had heaven, but no. There was Tito, and Tito did his bit to anchor the A site effectively.
Yeah, and I have to say, Omen Ultimate is one of those that sounds really intimidating with your map being blurred out and all that sound being created, but funnily enough, when you actually teleport in with the Omen, you don't really have a good sense of sound with that teleportation coast. So you can actually run a lot closer than you normally would to an actual player and get in position. And I think Tito, he knows absolutely what he's supposed to be doing in that kind of situation. As soon as he hears the ult, he starts running in towards that heaven area, then starts walking, waits for the ult to pop completely, and then when ZBDF, like you mentioned, was caught with his fans down, hey, it's a free kill, it's a free body, neural theft, up and running, and the round goes entirely in the favor of Global Esports.
Yeah.
And Tito, if there is a ray of hope, it's him.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Tito's been that one ray of hope on defense. Guys, if you've been enjoying this broadcast, if you've been enjoying what Tito and the others from Global Esports have been doing, if you've been enjoying what Master has been doing for RAD Syndicate, I think Master's definitely got to be one of the best races I've seen in India in a while. I haven't seen Excali in a while, but Master is up there for me. Both Master, Harsh, and Excali, I think they're up there. But yeah, if you've been enjoying what the duelists have been bringing, if you've been enjoying this broadcast, please follow One Play Esports on all their socials. It's very simple. The number one play and esports. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can hit the bell icon so that you get a notification when we go live with the grand finale and when we go live with our next round of games with the semifinals. So, hey, you don't have to go on Instagram for everything. You can, though. You can. One Play Esports is there on Instagram. They're there on Twitch. They're there on YouTube. They're there on Facebook. They're there everywhere. If you've been enjoying what Floki and I have been doing, you can find Floki at the rate HeroCard You can find me at Official Vivek. I think the tactical pause has been done for. And now we can jump back into the game and see if any of those tactics actually start to come together for Noble Esports. Because the ask of them on offense is so high, Floki. They've got to win that pistol.
Absolutely. Master, how well can you hold? You can hold very, very well. 2 quick kills. Well, you can't teach, you can't really use the same tricks on Old Man because they're aware of him, and this time around RAD Syndicate knew exactly what Noble Esports would be up to as Master shuts down the fish, goes back and finds the Omen. How much more can this man do for his team? The answer, just a lot. And look at Starboy comes back in, Rexy pulling it back with 2 collaterals, but no, it's just 1 collateral, but ZBDF is there to return the favor, and that second round is gonna be going in the favor of RAD Syndicate because they're gonna have SMGs, they're gonna have full armor, and Noble Esports caught in an awkward position. Very crucial round here. They need to decide if they want to force it or if they want to save for the final, because if they save it for the final, they have to win every round up until then and just take it to overtime, and that's where they'll have a chance of winning the game. A really, really mammoth task ahead of Noble Esports here in this map number 2.
Yeah, I believe Master is, I mean, you know what, I'll just tell you something about age a little bit later in this game. For now, it doesn't really matter because Paradox just found an easy opening with the Ghost. It looks like the defenders want to build their economy. ZBDF, he's done his bit with the Spectre. I think there's a Bulldog that's been brought out here by... Oh, no. That is so rough. ZBDF has done his bit. He's shut down any sort of aggression towards A. The comms between Batman and ZBDF really, really solid. As Batman, he had purchased a Bulldog, and I think Batman knew or
Match
was
point.
aware that they'd try and hit Hayes, so he just had to have the weapons ready. He did give the information over to ZBDF that they might be aggressing in from A shot, and ZBDF was more than ready with the Spectre to take those easy kills. They're sitting at match point on Haven. RAD Syndicate might just have done enough. It's still early days, but they've done enough to secure Bind and secure map number 3 for them. And Bind is, well, going to be interesting to say the least. Starboy trying to... I'm very curious to see where that lineup goes. So it's one for just C long, deep C long. For now, the lineups don't matter because Paradox is just working magic with his Phantom. If you actually push up A shot on defense, that angle can really favor the defenders because the offense, they see a small pixel, they see a head, the defense sees a lot more. So Paradox just abusing the nature of the map altogether. ZPDF's also pushed up, and now the offense have to figure this out. Noble weren't ready for ZPDF. Hika gets picked off, Tito there with the trade. Rexy elsewhere manages to find a crucial kill, but is it enough? Because Batman has started to push in, and it's just Tito all by himself. Tito's found 1 kill with the Vandal. He's got 86 points of health, no shield to work with, and he's also working against time itself as there's just 49 seconds on the clock. He's got to go plant the spike. He's managed to retrieve it, but he's getting backstabbed in a sense. Paradox is just waiting towards B window, waiting patiently for Tito. Tito sees the angle, but Paradox, he's fast.
No charges left.
Yeah, fastest fingers in the East, at least fastest fingers in the India, if nothing else. He was able to get that kill on Tito and shut down this map for Global Esports. Any dreams they had of winning this 2-0 have been completely squandered. And just look at that scoreboard. Just look at that beautiful scoreboard. All 4 members up from the side of RAD Syndicate here. And the final guy, the last person, Starboy, I believe he's the shot caller or the slash captain of this team, sitting there at the bottom on the server.
No, I think Paradox is more likely to be the shot caller in this team.
Really? That's very interesting.
I think Paradox is the more likely shot caller in this team. So I mean, I don't know. I think it's very fascinating what the concept of shot calling is in this game, Floki. Because logically, if you're playing an initiator or a sentinel, it should be easier for you to call the shots. I know that Batman isn't calling the shots. You think it's the Sova just because, well, Sova plays that role of gathering information. But no, I actually think it's Paradox calling the shots. And if you look at Global Esports, I think logically it should be Sai. I know Sai has a wealth of experience calling shots, but it might not be him. It could be Tito. I'm not quite sure how the team is functioning right now. For now, though, they're staying noble, and that's what they have to do. They have to really stay noble because the scores are tied at 1-1, and we're going to be moving into our final map of the day, Floki. The final map is Bind, and on that final map, we have RAD Syndicate starting out on offense. Okay, so they don't have the luxury of starting out on defense. They've got to win with a disadvantage if they want to. And that's what they're up against. The score's tied at 1-1, 50,000 Indian rupee at stake in the One Play Esports Valorant India Invitational. The brackets should be coming up soon enough. If you can't find the brackets, you can go to Challenge. Is that how you say it with a little bit of French?
Yep.
Yeah, those are the brackets. Global Esports versus RAD Syndicate. The winner in this best of 3 is going to be facing off versus FAR Esports in the semifinals. That's another best of 3, and then the finals are going to be a best of 5 affair. If you've been enjoying the broadcast so far, you know where you can find us. The socials are loud and clear on your screen. With me is Floki. My name is Vivek. We want to jump into Bind, but we're going to be taking a really short break, and then we're going to be back with, I don't know, the wild west that is Morocco, the wild west that is Bind. It is the decider of this journey for Global Esports and RAD Syndicate, and we're going to find out where that map will be going after the short break.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the One Play Esports Valorant India Invitational. My name is Floki. I am joined by Vivek. Two maps have gone by, and Noble Esports took the first one, which was on Split. Second map going completely in favor of RAD Syndicate, may I add, on Haven. And now the final map is upon us, Bind. But before we get into the discussion, though, I do want to shout out the tournament organizers, One Play Esports. That's the number one Play Esports. They have the same name across YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitch. So please go over there, follow them, subscribe, and like because there are going to be tournaments coming in the future. This is just the start, and you want to know when the next tournament is going to be coming up. Don't miss out on it. That's One Play Esports on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. And if you want to follow me and Vivek, well, our handles are right below our faces.
It's there. It's there somewhere. Yeah.
Let me see if I can. Oh, it's this hand. There you go. Yeah. You know what? This is way too precise. I give up.
We can't. But we've got to jump into our final map of the day, which is going to be Bind. And yeah, Bind. I'm very curious to see how both these teams played. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a Sova and a Cypher. I don't think we're going to see Killjoy. I've wanted Killjoy so much. I think she has a place on Bind. But Indian teams so far in this tournament haven't picked her up. Maybe we might see some Killjoy. I'm not quite sure. There've been nerfs to the Nano Swarm and the DPS nerf, the visibility, a slight change to the DPS. The visibility is being boosted up. I think that has been the biggest change to Killjoy, which really affects her. The turret, it got a small buff. Earlier, the Sova Recon Bolt used to reveal exactly where the turret was. Now you can't just recon the turret. So the turret does have its role in gathering information on Bind. But yeah, it's still limited in its capabilities in a sense. And teams just feel so much more comfortable, Floki, with the Cypher. So I think we're going to see some Cypher. We're going to see some Sova. Personally, in terms of control, I still like Omen, but teams seem to lean towards the Breach. At least that's what we saw between Global Esports and not the Breach. Excuse me. Teams tend to lean towards the Brimstone for control. And Breach, your favorite agent, at least one of your favorite agents. I know you personally like him. Breach does have a place in this map. Breach can very much work on this map. These teams do pick Breach. I'm just curious to see if they do end up picking it on Bind as well.
I'm curious to know though, who plays the Breach on Noble Esports? I saw Rexy play it. So is it always him, or is it something that they are very fluid about? Because I know multiple people like to play the Breach. At least.
I think for how Rexy likes to play, I think Rexy might be playing the Breach, but they might switch it up for this map. I think this map, you're going to see both teams bring their all. I don't know if that all means even Sage and Brimstone, which sounds a little outdated, but they could go Sage Brimstone if they're feeling it now. The Sage nerfs are huge. Like the control she offers with her slow, the area of control has been reduced. The self heal has been nerfed. It used to be 60 heal for you over it's now 60 heal for you over 10 seconds, and the heal to the allies is 60 over 5 seconds. Now you've got to remember one thing about the heal. It's just a heal. It doesn't restore your shields. So it gives you a little bit of wiggle room, but it's not the most ideal kit of utility anymore. It's not the best ability to have in the game. I really, Floki, in this game, I wonder, should they be called abilities or should they be called utility? I think that's a very tricky word itself, because abilities imply cooldown. We have signature abilities which have cooldowns, but a lot of other things depend on your economy and how much you manage to pick up. So I think I'm going to stick with ability, but everything is not on cooldown. It's only signature abilities that have some sort of a cooldown, like the Breach fault line. It's got a 35-second cooldown, so those are the cooldowns that you work with. But this game doesn't just spoon feed you all the abilities you want. It's not a fight between magic and wizards, magicians and wizards. Really, it's a tactical game. It's still very, very tactical, and building your money to get to those abilities is what really matters. Building those credits to get to those abilities. We got the brackets coming up soon enough, Floki. Anything you want to talk about from earlier on yesterday? Anything you think our viewers should know about any of the earlier matches they might have missed?
I do want to bring this up yesterday. So yesterday, Team Wellness went up against FAR Esports in the last moment, and the map they did take away from them. Mind you, FAR Esports is a really good team in terms of their coordination and shot calling. It was Bind. It was on Bind that Team Wellness was able to take that very first map against FAR Esports. And as far as I remember, this map can be really punishing if you don't respect the teleporters, if you don't respect the amount of confusion that those teleporters can create. I remember yesterday people pushed out on A shot on Team Villainous, and then after getting A shot control and forcing rotations, they instantly took the teleport out towards Hookah and made their way on towards B side. But there was only one person remaining, and it's hard to anchor down a site all by yourself, especially when you don't even have any form of backup in the semblance of any abilities.
Yep.
Or smokes.
So I think a lot of Indian teams feel personally that Brimstone is good in terms of control. He can do better than Omen. Personally, I lean more towards the Omen because the Omen offers a little bit of aggressive potential. You know, if you want, you can flash for yourself, and that flash, it's not just a flash that takes away sight. It doesn't just near sight you, it also messes with sound cues. And if you're working with no sound cues in the back of B, it's going to be really tricky. And Bind is known to be a tricky affair. Let's see who gets stuck in this mess, who gets stuck in a bind as we jump into our final match. Syndicate, this best of three, tied at 1-1. We're pistol is going to be do or die for both teams. It's going to be do or die for one. I just want to orient you once again. RAD Syndicate, they have a disadvantage. This Global Esports, they're starting out on the defense.
Absolutely. And Global Esports, they picked up the Brimstone for themselves, like you mentioned. You said how good Brimstone is for control, and that's what Global Esports want to be work with. It is going to be Sai playing that Brimstone though, so this is really very an offhand approach. Previously, we saw Sai playing Jet, had a phenomenal performance in the first game. The second game, maybe not so much, but still. This change of character is really interesting to see how it pans out in the long run. RAD Syndicate, meanwhile, sticking with the tried and tested. For now, the Noble Esports quickly shutting down this push towards B-Long. And this gamble from the side of Noble has completely paid off as they put two members out there towards B-Long. Just one person on the side. It's going to be Rexy all by himself. And this push has come to him, and RAD Syndicate, how much more damage can he do? That's the question. Badman finds a kill, but look at that. The paint shells, they do their work, and the Cypher ends up going down. The first round of the map, going the way of Noble Esports, and what a fantastic start for them, Vivek.
I think we have the scoreboard on our screens, and we can, even just run through who's playing what, so that you guys are at least familiar with it. RAD Syndicate are on offense, like I mentioned. Noble Esports are on defense. They've got the luxury of defense, and because I think they know that they were going into defense, so they're just committed for the Brimstone. They feel that the Brimstone offers more control on defense than the Omen, which I don't blame them for. 3 smokes and that Molotov, that incendiary, is very handy to have. They've won the pistol, the gamble is worked off. Are they going to manage to keep the momentum? Because they really need it. This is map 3, this is do or die, and the push is coming towards B. There are a bunch of Cypher traps to work with. Rexy's also on the side with that Spectre. He's dealt with the entirety of the push all by himself. He's revealing whatever he can, trying to get a little bit more information. He takes care of ZPDF while Hika pushes out Hooker, gets a kill on a Master, and Sai deals with that last remaining member from the RAD Syndicate offense as a Batman on the Cypher gets taken out. Noble Esports starting to, bit by bit build their economy, get the start that they're looking for. The operator, however, this time around is on Hush, and Sai is not playing a duelist. Sai wants to just have the luxury of calling the shots, so he's playing Brimstone.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, on the side of RAD Syndicate, their agent pool seems to be very straightforward. They have ZBDF playing the Omen, they have Paradox and Master playing those duelists, Starboy on his signature Sova, and Badman playing the Cypher like always. First buy round of the map, finally, we're going to be seeing if RAD Syndicate do have what it takes to punch back hard on the side of Noble Esports. But this very close positioning punished by Paradox as he shoots them through the wall. Phantoms at that close range can be a lot more devastating than a Vandal, Vivek. And Sai, now caught in the smoke, is gonna have to give up control of this area. And if, well, the smoke didn't do it, the paint shell certainly will. Smoke's gonna come down now, but they're taking their sweet time, and all the rotations have come in from Noble Esports. So maybe this push won't go their way, but Master has something to say about that. Is able to find the first kill. Hush, quick to trade him out. Can he find the second one? Yes, he can. They in fact even pick up Badman. Wait, no, Badman is still alive. That was Tito got the kill onto Paradox, mind you. And then now it's going to be Global Esports all by just Hush remaining alive. I'm not even sure what happened there. It seems that everybody just died rather a bit too quickly. That's what happens. You don't keep up with the kill feed. But RAD Syndicate first 5 round is down to a 1v1. Not a situation you want, but look at this. The Jet actually faking the sound of the... Oh no, the Jet's holding it. He's holding it, and even though he dies, he managed to get the round, and there's Belt.
Yeah. Yeah, the Cypher took too long. Yeah. I mean, I don't really blame Batman. He wanted to play it right, but he was so far away. And I think Harsh just knew. Harsh knew that Batman was not in position. He knew that Batman was towards lamps because he dealt with the Cypher camera. So he had to guess that Batman could only be playing towards lamps. As soon as he dealt with that camera, he just went on and wanted to get down with the defuse. One cloudburst to block off Batman's line of sight, so Batman can't even see who's moving onto the side. One cloudburst to cover himself. And Harsh really showing great presence of mind to clutch that out. It was a crucial 1v2. Harsh has done his bit. Sai, as a controller, should feel rather okay in this game because Harsh as the duelist is definitely stepping up. And boy, how is he stepping up. This is just ridiculous. He's pushed out a shot. He's got Sai by his side. They get a kill. They take aggressive control. They've caught enough any access from showers. Just look at this, Loki. This is beautiful. The offense is now forced to crunch on to beat. They've got 1 minute and 7 seconds. They've got to be ready for this backstab because Harsh wants to push for information, but they're tripwires or trapwires that he's got to be concerned about. The majority of the offense is just trying to clump on to B. Raze will drop a couple of blast packs and get control of the site, but Rexy through the smoke does manage to find one. He's dealt with one member of the offense. How much more can this offense put together? Not that much. Master at side gets taken off. Badman, he's trying his best to deal with this push that is coming. He will manage to deal with one member of the Global Esports defense, but there's still Harsh pushing in, and Tito's taking care of Paradox. Harsh will eventually undo Batman's hold. Batman gets undone through the wood, and Global Esports put a 4th round on the board. Their pursuit of information, their pursuit of control with this Jet, with this Brimstone is really paying off, Loki.
Absolutely, and the synergy between Sai and Harsh is so beautiful. Every single time Harsh went out to pick, he had the stim back upon him. You have the extra movement speed and the extra fire rate to work with. Sai accepting his role in this team as sort of the leader and the shot caller and really bringing out the best in his teammates. This time around, Harsh is up to some cheeky shenanigans with that boost up towards that booth. And let's see if they're going to check this location. It could be very powerful, and it often does go unchecked, Vivek. Let me remind you, it's not just my perks, it's these higher levels of Valorant too. But look at that, Rexy manages to find the tag. Is he going to be able to get the kill? Look, connects with the first shot. The second shot not really going to connect. Does manage to do a decent amount of work, but look at this time around. Ika goes out, doesn't get the kill with the bazooka. It gets traded out at least by Rexy. So it's down to a 3v3. The odds are even. RAD Syndicate, they're moving in towards the showers area from this B side, but they're not cleared out Harsh's position just yet. Is Badman gonna check it? No, he's not. He sees his hand. Really patient here, Harsh, and his patience is rewarded as he finds 2 kills for 1. Master will be able to pick up Sai. Oh no, Harsh burns himself in the Molotov just a bit. His foot is fried, but his arms are still working. Master caught between a rock and a hard place, and he's not gonna be able to get the kill onto Harsh. No spike is being planted, no extra money going the way of RAD Syndicate and Global Esports. They have built up an economy, and this is not starting to look pretty for RAD Syndicate.
Yep. This is why this game will keep punishing you. If you're not familiar with the geometry of this map, you're going to get punished. What Batman did was kind of logical. He peeked out, he saw that heaven was clear, but he didn't account for that close corner. He showed his hand while he was throwing the Cypher cage, and Harsh saw it. Harsh saw it, but he showed extreme trigger discipline. He dealt with the aggression that was coming out from A's shot, shut down that aggression, then went on to deal with Batman, and that kind of patience, that kind of trigger discipline really paying off there for Global Esports. Also, Ika, I believe he's playing the Raze, got a little bit ahead of himself, wanted to go for the big play towards B-Long, did drop the showstopper, but didn't quite get the kills. ZBDF just shot him down mid-animation and mid-air. Now, Sai is just trying to anchor down a shot. He's got 2 more smokes to work with. The iPad seems to be working fine, but Paradox has just crept in. Paradox is moving into the site with the run it back, but he doesn't get to too much accomplished. They haven't even gotten past the operator that Hush is running. And Rexy's also moved on to A. Rexy will chime in with the kill. The entirety of the defense is here. Paradox with the hot hands is just trying to heal himself. He manages to find one kill, but that's about it. Badman will commit the neural theft, gets a little bit of information if I'm not mistaken, but it's not going to be enough as the problems are just starting to add up for the side of RAD Syndicate. They've managed to eventually bring it back to a 2v2. It's Badman trying his best with his body to make this work out. ZBDF will find the kill, so now it's just Harsh all by himself on the jet. He's got the knives, he's got to clutch it out. He doesn't have too much information. Smoked off towards heaven, he's got to try and isolate these duels. It's going to take some raw skill, and as long as there's a solid crossfire, the offense should be able to hold on. But the crossfire is just barely good enough as Batman will trade out his body. Harsh is not getting any freebies. Every day is not a Sunday. And Global Esports, for the first time in this half, lose a round despite having a very, very solid buy.
Wait, what? This is really surprising. Okay, look at Noble's economy. I thought they had a lot of money built up, but look at that. They actually don't have money to buy rifles on all their agents. Harsh, he's saved up for the off. He's going to be working with Light Shield. So is Rexy, so is Sai, and so is Tito. This is not looking good actually for Noble Esports. I'm not sure if they can pull this out. The heavy commit from RAD Syndicate with 3 ultimates, it did pay off. But I thought the fact that Noble Esports have an economy built up would just counteract that, but they have no money in the bank saved. RAD Syndicate, can you kick Noble Esports' teeth in while they're down? I think that's the question. They made a mistake and it's up to you to punish it, and Badman, staying true to his name, is not going to give his enemies any openings. He's not a good person, and if he sees the opportunity, he'll kick you even harder when you make a mistake. Now, crawling back towards A-Shot after showing his presence, has to be careful though. Harsh has his number through the boxes. Is going to be able to find the return kill. Taken now by his lonesome. A lot of noise being made through the Cypher cage, and Master doesn't get the kill. Fire in the hole. The only hole that there was Master's own grave, but looks like his team is going to be backing him up as they find 3 kills and gain complete control over the side. The spike being planted. Harsh, if he's quick, he will be able to shut this down. Can he find it? No, he can't. Does find the first kill, throws on the cloudburst to block the vision, is looking towards the weaker home and is able to find the kill, isolating these 1v1.
He knows where Paradox is. He knew. He heard him. He heard him for a second. I'm sure Hush sensed it through all that 900 DPI that he's playing at. I saw him flick for a second. Instinctively, he guessed that there was someone at elbow. But in that split second, Hush made the call that, hey, I have to at least tap the spike first. But it doesn't matter. Paradox will not wait. Paradox just pushes through those smokes, gets the kill, clutches it out for RAD Syndicate. Unfortunately, this round for Noble Esports, it began with Sai overextending towards A-Shot. And these overextensions are starting to cost them really, because you look at their economy, what have they got? I see a frenzy here. I see a very scrappy buy coming out from the defense. This is where they could start to lose control of Bind. They've put up 5 rounds. They want to end this half with an advantage, Floki. They want to at least touch 8 if possible. Rexy's trying his hardest, but his hardest isn't good enough because Phantoms and Molotovs will undo you. Tito, still there, can't get closer to a gun. He's got the neural theft, but he needs a weapon to really put it to good use. He's dropped the camera, spots one, but ZBDF at range with the Phantom is just so much better. Tito gets removed from the server for now. Noble Esports are working with just 2. It's Harsh and Sai, and Harsh and Sai are slowly trekking towards B. They're clearing out hookup bit by bit. The spike's been planted at A float.
Yeah, and I have to say, RAD Syndicate, if they can keep all 4 players alive during this round, they're going to be very happy going into the next one. They can afford to lose the next one. Noble Esports, on the other hand, they can't. If they lose the next one, they're going to have to buy in. With the spike planted, there's very little wiggle room for error here if Noble Esports want to shut RAD Syndicate down in their tracks. Now, I think Noble are going to try to go for this, because if they manage to win this round, they will have shattered RAD Syndicate's economy, and then it's going to be even Stevens for the next few rounds. But the question is, are they going to do that? It seems the Jet is content with finding a Phantom on the ground, picks it up, and is just going to be holding out with Sai, making sure that they're able to take their armor into the next round, if nothing else, save some money there, and start building up that economy once again. Yeah. And they're going to be able to do so. Great stuff by RAD Syndicate. Getting that push in, planting that spike, building up their economy now. And Noble Esports, well, the whole world is on their shoulders now.
Yep. Guys, again, a cute little statistic. Bind is supposed to favor the defense. What are the numbers looking like, though? It's 51% in favor of the defense and 48% in favor of the offense. This is, I mean, these maps, though, although on paper the statistics tell you that they favor one team, I mean, it does favor the defense because of inherent map design. They're still very, very dependent on how individuals make decisions. And right now, Sai made a smart decision, didn't want to contest the run and back, but he did lose a lot of health. He dropped the smoke. They're trying to hold on. There's a Molotov also in that smoke, which Sai has dropped, as Paradox will not go past it. Sai will manage to find the kill. He's found Batman, so he's done his bit. He's dealt with the Cypher. The main source of information for RAD Syndicate taken away, as a bunch of them just take the teleport and swing to B immediately. Starboy, the first point of contact. What can he accomplish? That requires to deal with. He's managing to try and get past them, and he's just holding down the spray. The Phantom gets him 2 crucial kills, but he's going to swing again. He swung to A, and he's got the spike. He's moving on to A, but it's not going to be all that straightforward because Rexy's on the side. But Rexy, he didn't check Lamp. Paradox had snuck into Lamp, taken aggressive control, and Paradox did his bit. He dealt with Rexy. It's now a 3v2 for the offense. The post plant is very, very doable. There's an operator on the retake, Floki, and this is not the weapon you want. The Hunter's Fury also being channeled to buy time. They're doing their bit to hold them back. Starboy has really come clutch in this round. But Tito knows exactly where some of them are. He's managed to pull it back to a 2v2. Can Hush really take advantage of this? Hush doesn't have too much health to work with. Neither does Starboy. But they've got the timing. They peak at the exact same time. They clear the exact same opponents in a manner, in a sense. They've done enough. RAD Syndicate put a 4th round on the scoreboard. There's just 3 more rounds remaining, and Global Esports, if they can pray to any god on planet Earth, any god on this alternate planet Earth that Valorant takes place in, if there is a first light for them, they need it right now.
RAD Syndicate, they're stealing the show here. Great amounts of money being built up. Great awareness as well. The double teleportation being used here on this map called Bind. Just great stuff all around from RAD Syndicate. Able to confuse the living crap out of Global Esports, making them run across the map like rats. And when you're going to be running around like defense like that, it is a very low chance you can actually hold on to any side and prevent the spike from going down, if nothing else. But look at this, a very early premature ultimate coming out from Rexy. He doesn't find anyone or any damage with it. He didn't, I think he tagged the Omen, but that's all about he can get. Hush though opening things up for the side of Noble with a pick onto Badman. No neutral tap for the side of RAD Syndicate. And now, look at them. Global Esports confidence slowly being regained. Hush misses the next shot. They are making their way towards the short area once again. Nice firewall coming in from the Phoenix. The shot misses through the firewall. Not much is going to come through, but the X Factor might just end up being this hellfire that's being rained down, but the spike goes down anyway. No kills being given away just yet. Rexy comes back, is able to get the man advantage. I mean, not the man advantage, but at least it's even now. But look at the spam coming through. I don't think it's hitting him. Raze still alive, still doing quite healthy, but Tito pulling it back for Global Esports big time with his Bulldog, and like that, Global Esports finally making a comeback after getting that early lead, and this is the first round they've managed to pick up in a long time, Vivek.
They're also sharing the ultimate points. I think this is why we should look at the scoreboard. Very, very quickly, we should take a look at the scoreboard. So they've got the operator on Hika. He's got the showstopper ready. So if you have the showstopper available on the Raze, you don't need to make aggressive plays on defense. You can just wait for people to clump up, and you can use your showstopper on the retake, especially when folks move into B or A. If you have a little bit of information coming through from your Sova, from your Cypher, from Lexi, from Tito, you can use it in those corners. That's what Hika's going to try and do. Hush, he's got the knives if he needs them. If the operator doesn't quite do the trick, he's unfortunately working with light shields. I see one more member on their lineup working with light shields, so it's not the best buy coming out from Global Esports, but they've got enough to hold on. 6-4, they need these last 2 rounds, Floki. They really are running out of time. This is Bind, this is map number 3, and they want kills. They're getting desperate. Higa will move forward, and he's got those paint shells. Those paint shells bouncing off that wall perfectly will allow Global Esports to take control of B-Shot. Rexy's holding on to B-Long the best he can. Phantom in hand, not too much in terms of shields. Shields depleting bit by bit. It's a dance between the shock darts. It's Dronacharya versus Eklavya, and I don't know who comes out on top. Who is the student? Who is the disciple? For now, it looks to be Starboy. As he finds a kill through that smoke, he brings down Sai. Sai caught with his iPad in hand, was trying to block off B-Long, but unfortunately he gets picked off. It's Hika and the others who got to anchor B. A teleport being tossed in, the spike for all intents and purposes, is still Edby. It's just the Omen with the fake. So ZBDF just trying to fake them out and make them doubt themselves. But the spike is towards B. The spike is on Batman. Where does Batman decide to go?
I think you asked the perfect question, and I don't know the answer to that, but Global Esports do, perhaps because they just found themselves 2 kills, and it looks like wherever the spike goes, it's not gonna be planted down on the ground. It's gonna die with Batman's body, and
30 seconds
this
left.
round most certainly being secured by Global Esports unless Batman can pull something out of the bag. No, he can't. The only thing he manages to pull perhaps is going to be the bullet from his corpse in the next one as he comes back to life, hoping for revenge. 7-5 in the favor of Global Esports. Great half coming in from them on this bind map. But final buy from the side of RAD Syndicate, not looking too good. They're working with SMGs, they're working with light shields, and it's a tall order ahead of them to win this one. They're only working with 1 ultimate, and it's very unlikely that they're able to pick up another one unless Paradox goes crazy.
Yeah, I mean, ZBDF trying his best to sell the fake, but no one's really buying it. I mean, Harsh was just anchoring A the best he can. So, Global Esports have a good enough read. We're now looking at 11 rounds in. This is going to be a final round for Noble on defense. They won this round. I said if they can touch 8, they'd be happy with that kind of a start. They have it in them. And RAD Syndicate wants to gather as many rounds as possible on offense. Is 4 enough is the question that Paradox is asking as he's flashing corner after corner. He just wants to clear out. Lance is one man with the iPad. It's Sai. Sai, bested. Paradox through the wall will take care of Sai. The iPad, the control, those smokes just not available. Neither is the Molotov. But there's Hush with the operator, and Hush with the operator has shut down the rest of aggression. The rest of the aggression coming out from A shot. But look at this, Floki. The spike's being planted at B, and Hika, he knows. He's going to clear out bit by bit. The paint tells there. He's got the showstopper. Has a little bit of information coming in from Sova, but it's not enough. Master and Starboy will light up the kill feed, and it's now Hush with the knives in hand in a 1v1 versus Starboy. He's done it. Hush has done it. The knives didn't work. The ghost did the trick. He clutches it out. 8-4. Global Esports get a lead because this map is supposed to be defender favored. They're going to be pleased with their lead, but I have no idea, Floki, if they have enough depth in their strat book to actually come out and start pulling and putting together rounds on offense because they're running a Brimstone. They do not have an Omen. So Sai has got to call the best attacking side of his life if Noble want to win this. The scores again, those of you just tuning in, tied at 1-1. RAD Syndicate has been naughtiness, pure naughtiness on split. Yeah. But now they've got to hold on to bind flow. This goes here.
Yeah, Brimstone is not as bad on offense as one might think. It does require you to have a little bit of map control though, especially if you want to hit either sides B or A. On A, you want to sort of have control of showers, so an early push from the defenders can really punish that. And if you want to take control of B main, once again, the defenders can push that too and have the Peacock's advantage there. So it's not as bad as one might think, but it does require a fair amount of coordination. But look at this for now. Paradox left all by his lonesome. His buddy Sova just bailed on him completely. And just like that, well, this hookah place has been opened up completely for Global Esports. They have the control on the map. They can choose to slow things down. Now, the cool thing is that they have dropped the spike before. Fortunately for them, no one is really pushing in from that showers area. So that spike is not going to get spotted by any means. Harsh, towards this A shot here, trying to find info, is aware that there's a Cypher camera and an Omen there, so looks like the set is going to come out towards B, and Starboy answers back valiantly, taps on his head. Master still biding his time inside the container, waiting for someone, and that recon bolt is going to reveal the position of the Raze inside Hookah, and she's going to have to retreat. And now Master switching his position towards Elbow. Looks like it's going to be a B hit coming in from Global Esports with only 35 seconds left on the clock. That really isn't a lot of wiggle room. It is do or die here. You can maybe fake out B side control and take the teleporter towards A. And for now, they are committing on to the B side, though. We'll see how much they can do. Double peek on towards Starboy. They're able to find the first kill, but ZBDF is quick to answer back with a kill onto Hika. Master, how much can you do here? Finds one kill, but gets quickly treated out by Hush. Now down to a 2v2. Global Esports, 14 seconds left. The spike will go down, and ZBDF holding on to Cubby. Cypher is able to find the kill. Badman, how much more you can do? Both on full HP, and Harsh, he cannot come through in this round as a very crucial round being won here by the side of RAD Syndicate. No teleporter shenanigans today, and it seems to me, Vivek, that RAD Syndicate, they're not to be underestimated on this defense side either.
Yeah, I mean, this is what Global Esports. I think this is a sort. it's a consistent default. It's just them splitting up on the map for information. But the problem is every time they try and get into his site, Master is just so good with the ghost. I mean, not just with the Ghost. Master is good with any pistol that you give him. I really don't know what pistol he was working with, but I remember on Haven when he had to hold C window all by himself, he is got that draw pistol aim at close range, which a lot of players don't have. So he's got the ability to react and adjust, and that's really making the difference for RAD Syndicate. Now it's FEDF, who's got himself a Spectre. He'll take up these kills. Batman will chime in with one. He manages to pick off side. The spike does get planted. It's not the end of the world for the offense, but they're just trying to build their economy. So they get the spike plant off, and I think if we look at the scoreboard, I'm not quite sure if... I don't think Paradox is anywhere close to the run it back, but everybody is inching closer on the defense to their big ultimates. Batman is 2 points away from his neutral theft, and if he gets a kill and an ultimate point, he's got it. So now we really have to start to see what this noble offense is all about. They've got a proper buy. They're not mucking about. There's no operator in the buy. It's just Vandals. It's just what players are comfortable with. Can these work? Okay, I see the buy